Men are escaping. Wow, it's been a while since I did this, hasn't it? Men are escaping and women don't know why. Why are men escaping and what does that mean for society and women going forward? Watch this video to have all of those questions answered and more. Don't forget to follow us over on Rumble. Our Rumble is linked in the description of the video. And don't let them tell you that you will own nothing and be happy. Go and check out Angry's Crypto Academy to learn how to buy, sell, and trade crypto while making massive profit. It's also linked in the description of the video. Now let's go ahead and jump right in. So guys, men are escaping. Men are escaping from society. Men are escaping from relationships. Men are escaping from the plantation. Men are running away. They are done with the BS. They are not playing games and they are leaving. And women are absolutely panicking. We actually have a video from Manhood, which we're going to jump into probably in a little while. A lot of you probably also want to know, hey, Angry, what's going on? Where have you been? Well, I've been on my own escape path. So I've actually lost quite a bit of money because I have not been as active on YouTube. I've been very, very busy escaping. And you're like, what? Yeah, men are escaping. And it's happening right around us right now. So for example, the world is changing. We have things like digital ID, ID verification. Oh my gosh, and so many other things happening around us right now. We know we can see what's happening in Western society. We can see how the economy is in the United States. Many people say that it's the fall of an empire. And the thing is, and I suspected this, I knew that men would create new spaces because women would basically invade the spaces of men, and then men would create new spaces. Well, what's happening right now, and I theorized this many years ago, is that men would eventually create spaces that were too complicated for women to easily invade. And I did not fully understand the meaning of my words back then because it needed time to manifest. But I theorized, especially with things like crypto, I saw the writing on the wall, but I did not fully see the picture. I knew it was coming. That men would eventually create spaces that were too complicated for most women to invade. And we're beginning to see that right now. Men are escaping from society. Okay? They're 100% escaping from society. They're leaving. They're done with it. They're done with relationships. They're done with dating. They're done with the 9 to 5. Of course, there are always going to be the guys who believe that, that want conflict and stress in their lives. Most men are happy being alone right now. Just to be clear, most men are happy being by themselves and not being burdened with stress. But there are always going to be those men. There are always going to be those men that go looking for trouble, that don't like their peace. Like there was a comment on one of my videos. This was one guy, and I basically wrote, I created a poll that said, I'm calling it now, a new golden era is being ushered in, which is basically a life where men will live simple lives of luxury and comfort. And there were people who disagreed, but this is one of the comments I'm talking about. And this is a pretty normal subscriber of mine. I've seen his picture, I've seen his profile, and he says, it's boring being alone. And I responded to him, and he responded by saying that he lives alone. Let me tell you something about guys who are like this. These are men that they basically need chaos, but they're tired of suffering. So they don't want to be alone. And it's not simply a matter of loneliness. It's a matter of boredom. They need other men to entertain. They need women to entertain them. They need men to entertain them. They need someone else to entertain them. And let me make it very, very clear. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Okay? It is very, very important for men to learn how to be alone. For men to learn how to be able to be happy by themselves. Once a man masters solitude, he finds freedom. But there are guys like this who they can't be alone. All right? They need someone to keep them entertained. These are the kinds of people that disrupt the peace of others. And I'm not going after this guy. I'm just sharing the post. I'm not saying him specifically, just sharing the post, using it as an example. There's a lot of these people who don't like peace. Most men want their peace, but there's a lot of men who like to disrupt the peace of others. And these are the same guys that are like, life is too boring without a woman in my life. While 99% of men are now leaving society and walking away, you will still find these men who are trying to drag other men back. You know what the funny thing is? Where are these guys? They don't want to go back because they're tired of suffering. So they bring their gloom and their misery to us because they don't have anywhere else to go. I've said this plenty of times. The manosphere is filled with simps because they have nowhere else to go. Okay? The same people who made society miserable to live in, the same people who helped to destroy society, to bring society to the point that it's currently at, the same people who are still simping are also the ones who've abandoned society. I literally had a guy post a comment on my channel, and he said that I'm a simp. He literally said, I'm a simp, but I'm tired of suffering. You see, simping ain't easy. Simping is a lifestyle. There are men who don't know. There are men who do not know. They don't have the knowledge, all right? They don't have red pill knowledge. But then there are a lot of men who simping is a lifestyle for them. Just like pimping, simping is a lifestyle. That's how they compete. They compete by using money to control others. Women think that, oh, he's just a nice guy. He's trying to control you and condition you. You think you're winning because he's giving you things that you don't deserve. What he's doing is he is conditioning you to continuously come back to him when you need something and eventually settle for him. See, the Sims, they play the long game. A lot of Sims know exactly what they're doing. They've chosen to betray men, and they basically chose to betray men and masculinity, and in exchange, they get access to resources, relationships. So, for example, and spaces that are typically only, that are typically allocated only for specific groups like women and other groups, but not typically men. And this is how they operate. They are rewarded for betraying us. However, it's not easy because there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of humiliation. There's a lot of money that is being spent to play this game. And sometimes some guys come out ahead. Other guys, a lot of these men, though, they don't come out ahead. They come out at the bottom. All right. They go broke before they get what they want. You see, rather than taking the approach of being a masculine man, of saying that I'm the prize, of doing these, they switch it up. They basically convince women that they need more rights, more privileges, more freedoms, right? And that they're safe men, they're good men, and and basically what they are is that they're conditioning women to say, I will enable you. I will enable you. But we know that enablers aren't good. Simps are toxic. These dudes are toxic. If you care about a person, you don't give them everything that they want. If you care about a person, you don't tell them everything that they want to hear. Okay? If you care about a person, you meet their needs, not their wants. Okay? At least not all of them. Sims don't genuinely care about women. Sims are simply manipulating. It's a form of control. All right? But even the Sims are tired now. Even the Sims are exhausted because simping ain't easy. Simping ain't easy. And a lot of them are tired of suffering. And that's why so many of them have now left society. Guys, just a quick shifting, just telling you a little bit about, and this goes into it. So men are escaping from society right now, and they're escaping in different ways. They're escaping financially, economically, socially. Some even leaving the country. Many leaving the country. I made a video many years ago called "Men Leaving the West," where I predicted men would begin to leave Western society eventually. Okay, what have I been doing? And I talked about this. I said that men will create new spaces, and eventually they would create spaces so complicated that the average woman could not compete in these spaces, could not operate in these spaces. I didn't say any women, but I said the average woman could not operate in these spaces. When you look at what's happening right now with men, for example, where have I been? Where have I been for like the last 3-4 weeks? Why has my video content slowed down? What's happening with Uncle Angry? Something serious happened 3 weeks ago. almost 4 weeks ago. 3 to 4 weeks ago. It hasn't been quite 4 weeks yet, I think. Something major happened. What happened was I installed Linux. And it was during this time where a bunch of major changes began to happen in my life. I began, because I've been learning about society and the way things work and the way the world works. The food that we eat is not good for us. Okay, it's not good for us. The content that we consume online, social media, not good for us. A lot of things are not good for us. And I went on a path of doing things to now start really substantially improving my health. All right. I also started working on things to improve my mind. So you're going to say, well, so for example, I'm on this crazy detox. Okay. I'm detoxing my body right now. And it's some crazy stuff. And at the same time, I also started down the path. I started last year and then I basically stopped and I started again. I've been working on another citizenship. It's been extremely difficult, extremely stressful. Hopefully I'll have I'm literally sending emails all around the world, to countries that don't even speak English. I know you're like, Angry, what the living hell are you doing? Yeah, man. I am literally going hard. You don't even know. Okay. And this is an example of men escaping. I'm working to escape from the food system. So for example, the food isn't healthy right now. The food that we eat is not good for us. So I'm working on my escape little by little from the healthcare system, from the food system. People are like, it's impossible. No, it's not. You just have to, there's always going to be some friction and but there is a way out. There's a path out. You can live. It's basically these bubbles within the system itself. And it's learning how to live in the system while walking right through it, almost becoming a ghost in the system. And that's kind of where I'm heading right now, becoming a ghost in the system. Now, 4 weeks ago, I installed Linux. I got fed up. I was sick and tired of Windows, and I had been saying for a minute, I'm going to install Linux. And I was saying, and I had been saying, like, I'm going to switch to Mint. I'm going to switch to Mint. But I'm going to install Mint. And then things kind of change. So my computer is set up. My desktop is set up. That has the 9070 XT in there. So that's an RX 9070, AMD RX 9070 GPU, 9070 XT GPU. So it's the really, really nice one. And and then for the CPU, it's the Ryzen 9 9850 X3D. So it's crazy powerful. Crazy powerful. Unfortunately, I have not been able to harness the power yet. So I switched over to Linux. I switched to Linux Mint, and then I was like, you know what? Nah, that's not going to work for me. and I ended up like switching to Pop OS, and I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work for me. And then I switched, like this all like happened in like back to back, like with it like over the course, and I had to like, you know, Linux is like a rabbit hole, because when you go Linux, it's basically it's a nightmare. They tell you Linux is so easy, man. It's like I've had they're freaking, they are fucking liars. They are fucking liars, y'all. They'll try to convince you that everything is good. It's all good in the hood, bro. Linux is awesome, man. You don't need like I've had no problems. Guys, the Linux people are scumbags. Scumbags, all right? Linus Sebastian from Linus Tech Tips recently switched to Linux again, and he had so many problems, and the Linux community bullied him. And now, like the pseudo kings, like these are dweebs, are now basically evaluating his work, his switch to Linux. Linux is a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. But at the same time, it's like you basically have nowhere else to go. I was so sick and tired. Like I couldn't even play my games anymore. Like I have this massive Steam library. Couldn't play my fucking games, and I love visual novels, right? Many of the visual novels I play are made using this thing called Ren'Py. It's basically the software design used to make the games. It wouldn't run no matter what the fuck I did. It would not run. These games just wouldn't run properly. Okay, and I was constantly having, and then like there's so much like Copilot is so miserable. Like it's in everything is enabled, and Microsoft, like it was just insane. It was just so much bullshit, so intrusive, and I finally got fed up, and I basically backed up what I needed to back up. And I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving this behind. And you know, if I lose anything, I lose it. And then I basically installed Linux, and it was an utter fucking failure. Basically, it didn't work. It didn't really work. There were problems with like the touchpad not working on my laptop, because I use my gaming laptop mainly for content creation. It's really powerful. I say gaming laptop, but I have a Strix G16, which is what one of my subscribers literally was like, don't buy the Zephyrus, buy the Strix. And I was like, no, I want the Zephyrus. And I bought the Zephyrus. Like I bought it with like a 3090 for like almost $4,000. And the fucking thing was not working properly. And I had to send it back. And then I ended up picking up the Strix, and the Strix was fucking amazing. And then I learned, this was like back in 2020, at the end of 2024, I picked it up during Black Friday. This dude saved it. Like I was being so arrogant because I was like, the Zephyrus is so pretty. And the thing is, like, I hated the touchpad on the Zephyrus. It was just not workable. And the Strix was just so much better. And the Strix has much more advanced cooling solution. So I can run, so the TDP can be much higher on it. So you get much better visual output. Right? Basically, the CPU, the CPU, they can scale much higher than on the Zephyrus, right? So the wattage is higher. Well, I had to learn all about this. And the thing is, I have a background in IT, but until you like become a PC gamer, you don't know shit. Once you go in, and then you realize you don't know shit. All right, I still know I don't know shit, but I learned a lot just getting into PC gaming, and that changed. And then I was like, holy cow, I can use this device for content creation. I started using it for content creation. I'm like, bro, I can do now using this device. I can do now. It used to take me, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes to make a video on my MacBook Pro, on my M1 MacBook Pro with the Pro processor, right? And now I wish I had gone with the Max. And now on my Strix, I can do the same thing in 5 fucking minutes. For like 3 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, but usually 3 to 5 minutes. I'm like, holy shit. So it completely changed my life. But I learned a lot about Windows, but Windows just kept getting worse and worse. So I'm like, fuck this shit eventually. I need to escape. So, you know, I installed Linux. I think it was like Linux Mint, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of okay, but it's kind of like Windows. I know what do I expect. And like the gestures are not like Mac, and I like the Mac gestures, so I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna work for me. I need something like Mac. So I try like I try Fedora, and Fedora is like okay, it's good. I like Fedora, but then it doesn't work. Like I'm having like these terrible screen resolution issues. It's like the native resolution just won't work properly. The Wi-Fi won't work, and I spend like 13 hours trying to fix it. I don't know. It's like many hours and days. Couldn't. So then I try Pop OS, and then Pop OS works, but the gestures aren't great on it. And then and then like I'm looking at the settings of like the BIOS, like could something in the BIOS fix it? Nothing in there. So I have to keep going back to Windows because like I'm dual booting. So I made sure to like keep Windows in the background. Like I have Windows on another SSD. I have two SSDs in my laptop. So I'm running back to Windows and like using Windows, but like I'm like then jumping over and like installing another distribution. I went through like 3 or 4 different distributions. I think it was 3. I went through Mint. I went through Fedora. I went through Pop OS and Fedora. Eventually, I find an option in the BIOS, and I switched it from like dedicated like DGPU, so dedicated GPU only, to like hybrid, I think, or dynamic, and basically like, I guess that lets it swap between the GPUs, and that actually fixed the entire thing. So now I'm over on Fedora, and Fedora works amazingly well, but there's a lot of issues, and it's like you have to start using the kernel immediately. Not kernel, you have to start using it, but you do have to mess with the kernel. You have to start using the terminal immediately, and I don't know shit about terminal, but guess what? Linux doesn't give a fuck. Linux doesn't give a flying fuck. So I'm using like ChatGPT and Copilot. I hate Copilot, but I'm using all of these different things to like help me like do shit in the terminal and fuck around with the kernel, and oh my gosh, and like I fuck with the kernel and something breaks, and then now the resolution is fucked again, but oh wait, I was able to fix it, thank God. And then like, oh, it's like after like an hour or two of like crying because I don't want to go back to Windows, but now I may have to go back to Windows, and and like eventually I get things working kind of to where I want them, but it's like you're still a fucking scrub. Like you're not even a scrub. You're like if there's something beneath a scrub, you're beneath a scrub. So I'll tell you right, like in terms of Linux user right now, I am beneath a fucking scrub. I should not talk about myself that way, but Linux will destroy your confidence. It will fuck you up. And yeah, so I'm on Linux, and then I'm like, holy fuck, like this software doesn't work and that software doesn't work, so I have to learn all kinds of new softwares. And this is how do I do this over here? But yeah, but hey, my games are working over here. I can play Steam games again, even though I'm having problems with Steam. Fuck, Steam doesn't. So like I have to like tons of troubleshooting to get this to work correctly. Things that worked well on Windows don't work well over here anymore, but it's still like, your options is to go back to Windows, and yeah, that's not a really great option. And there's some great things about Fedora, some great things about Linux, but there's like they lie to you. They fucking lie to you. The fucking dweebs lie to you. They're like, oh, Linux, like they're like Mint is like so perfect. Fuck that shit. Almost very few distributions of Linux are straight from SteamOS is pretty sweet. I will say SteamOS is pretty sweet, but the thing about SteamOS is that you don't need to use the terminal in SteamOS because of the thing, mostly because of the things that you are doing won't really require the terminal. However, the fucked up thing is like, for me, like, because I have a Legion Go, I have a Steam Deck and I have a Legion Go S, and if I use the Legion Go S again, I haven't played it in a little bit, I'm probably going to be in terminal. I'm probably going to be in the fucking terminal now, which is terrible because once you go terminal, it's like you're for like, even like you like ask a question in ChatGPT, it's like, how do I do this? Okay, hop into the terminal, bro. It's like you can't escape the terminal, and you're like, where the hell is this fucking story going? I agree, and let me continue. Let me continue. So, yeah, where's the story going? It's going somewhere. It's going somewhere. Yeah. So, basically, the video editing software that I use Filmora to edit my videos. Yeah. That was some shit right there. So Filmora isn't compatible with Linux, and I mean you can try to run it through like Wine, but that's not a good idea. So there's things like Kdenlive and Shotcut, and a bunch of others. I learned how to use Shotcut, and then it turns out I'm like, okay, fine, I'll use Shotcut to edit my videos. It's straightforward, it's pretty easy. So I spent time learning how to use it, and after I learned how to use it, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can get through this now. I edit my first video. I put together my first video. It's not perfect. I'm like, fuck it, I'll figure out the rest along the way. And then I export the video, and it doesn't work. Like it's exporting, but it's taking forever, like a couple of hours, like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I have a super powerful GPU, and I have and I turn on, what do you call it? I turn on hardware acceleration, and that shit isn't working. So I'm like checking the terminal and blah blah blah, and it turns out that the drivers for my GPU were never installed, the video drivers. So the entire time, the entire time, I didn't even have the drivers installed properly, which is probably explains why I was having some issues when I was watching videos and so forth. So I have to. So long story short, I installed in the video drivers. And this is like a week after. This is like a week or two after all this shit. It's been hell for me, y'all. I've been fucking through it. And I installed the drivers and everything. And now it's like it's showing up in Shotcut. And then I try to export my videos, and it still won't export properly still won't export properly using the dedicated GPU. So that's a problem. So I have to go back to my MacBook, which is not perfect for exporting videos at this point, because I'm exporting very large videos. My videos are pretty large, or pretty long. So I need to be able to export, like, videos that are like 7 to 10, how large? 7 to 10 gigabytes. And it's like, yeah, bro, it's gonna be like an hour and a half or 2 or 3 hours. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, yup. So I'm like, I'm kind of fucked, but then I figured out a way to deal with that. But it's still very inconvenient having to jump over to the Mac from from my working machine. And I've been so busy with other things, because like I said, I've been working on that second citizenship. I've been like, for example, I've gotten off social media. The only social media that I'm using right now is actually just YouTube. And I made lots and lots of changes on YouTube. Like for example, I'm not watching shorts anymore. I have an extension that allows me to block out certain video topics. So like things related to what's happening in the rest of the world, blocking that shit out too. Like, I've blocked out a lot of things, right? And I've also did it on my phone. I got a new Pixel 10a, and I installed software that allows me to block, block out certain things on YouTube, like shorts and what do you call it, and other things. I'm basically trying to the news, like mainstream news, stuff like that. All of that shit, block. I don't want to know what's going on I don't want to know what's going on overseas. I don't need to know. I don't need any of this garbage. I'm blocking all of it out, because it's just poison for the brain. So, but it takes time and learning and everything else. And I've just been so busy. And then in terms of trying to like edit my videos, like it's just not going to happen with like trying to jump back and forth between my Mac and this. It's just miserable. So I'm gonna basically like have to learn how to use Kden Live, and I started the process, but it's just like, hopefully maybe by today or tomorrow I can work something out. I have to just get it done. I've been just like trying to get things done, and it's just how complex life is. And men are basically, this is what's happening to men right now. We're basically trying to escape. So for example, me trying to escape Windows to Linux came with significant complexity. Me trying to escape social media has come with quite a bit of complexity. Me trying to escape Western society, leave America once and for all, or have that escape route, get that second citizenship. All right? Well, I'll tell you where I'm going to go. But it's a very, very valuable citizenship. It's a very valuable citizenship. And I'm struggling and trying so hard to get this citizenship. Because if I get the citizenship, bro, it basically opens up a massive portion of the world, allowing me to live. Like, it's basically, I won't say where, but it would allow me to live in various different countries. If I got this one citizenship, it'll allow me to live in various countries. I can literally live, and I believe live and even work there. If I get the specific citizenship, it's that powerful. So I've been grinding and everything. And this is just how complex life is right now. Freedom isn't free. Freedom is painful. So I've taken massive hits to my finances. All right, since I moved over to Linux, my laptop is on Fedora, is on Linux Fedora, and my desktop is on Linux Fedora. Another thing is now I'm also running a NAS. You're like, what the fuck is a NAS? A NAS is basically a device that allows you to essentially run your own home server, and you can store you can store your media, you can store your pictures, everything. You can back up everything automatically. I'm running a Ugreen like 2300, something like that. It's a 2-bay NAS. I picked up 2 hard drives from it. Really great hard drives to use, but they were like enterprise grade. Both were very good, evidently. I got a crazy deal on them. I'm so sad because I could have got more, but they are sold out now. I picked up 2 4 terabytes for $100. It was a crazy deal, and then I got the Ugreen 2300 for like $167. It was on sale. And when I purchased my this is something else that's crazy. When I purchased my Pixel 10a, I purchased it off Amazon. They were basically like they're so sneaky because like they basically there's like they don't package it together, but I saw like a listing where like you could purchase a 10a for $500, or you could purchase the 10a for $500 and you also get an Amazon gift card for $100. I'm like, this can't be real. So I just did it, and they basically bill you separate. So the 10A basically goes down to $400, and then the gift card, and then the gift card is separate. So I get the gift card for $100. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy the NAS now because I had my eye on it for a while, and it was on sale. So I just buy it. I buy it. I don't know, maybe was it 180? What's it 167 or 187? It might have been 187, but it was on sale. I bought it on sale, and I bought the fucking thing on sale. I got it, and I bought I went online and I went onto eBay. I bought the fucking hard drives, and then it took like a week for them to come. I got the NAS a little bit earlier than that. It took like a week for the hard drives to come. As soon as they came, I set the fucking thing up. That was like 2 days ago, and 2 or 3 days ago, and ever since then, I've been rocking and rolling. And like I'm like in shock. Like, yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago actually. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm running my own media. Like, guys, like, let me tell you how insane this is. Tell you how insane this is. I have like a bunch of gameplay footage. Like, I had 45 not terabytes, 45 gigabytes of gameplay footage that was trapped on my Mac. Literally trapped on my Mac, and I wanted it on my I wanted to be able to use it, but it's like bringing over that many videos over to my what do you call this, over to my production machine, my Strix CPU. It was like that's a lot of things, that's a lot of data to bring over, and it's going to take a lot of transfer. It's like it'd be nightmare trying to bring all of that over, right? It can be done, but it's going to take a lot of time. Well, you know what's crazy about the NAS? Because all of the devices are on the same network now. Like right before I started this video, I was just gonna like have a video playing in the background from Stardew Valley for you guys, and I was like, nah, you know what? Let me fucking try this out. And I was like, fuck it. It took like 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, but I was basically able to transfer all of my videos, all of my video game footage videos from my MacBook Pro, which I had connected to the NAS, right? And it shows up as a folder on the system, and I was able to transfer it over in like at like 1 gigabit speeds. 1 gigabit speeds. It's great. Well, it wasn't a full 1 gigabit. If it was like, but I was able to transfer it over at like close to 1 gigabit speeds, and I was able to transfer over 45 gigabytes of my gameplay footage within like 10 to 15 minutes. It's like it was just insane. I moved over all of these files in that tiny period of time. And like the video you're watching right now of Black Mint Wukong, I was gonna tell you, like that's streaming from the NAS. Like I'm using StreamYard, right? I'm using StreamYard. However, the video is actually streaming from my NAS. This is so insane. I have two internet connections, a primary and a secondary. The primary is it's just a solely wireless connection, but it's actually faster than my secondary, which is a cable connected via cable. It's a cable internet service. And you're actually like I had to like buy another Ethernet cable because first it was on the secondary network, and then I switched it over to the primary, which was a lot easier than I thought it would be. But Yeah, you're watching the video footage you're watching right now is actually just streaming straight from it's literally coming from the NAS. It's literally coming from my cloud storage. My fucking cloud storage. Like this, I'm streaming the footage from my fucking cloud storage. Like, and you know, I bought two 4 terabyte hard drives, and they're basically being mirrored right now. So if one hard drive goes down, all of my shit is still saved, and I have another SSD, another hard drive on the way. So that's a safety net, and I'll buy another one. 4 terabytes for me is enough. I wish I would have preferred 8 terabytes, but 4 terabytes was enough at the time because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how much I wanted to invest. I didn't know how I didn't know that the experience would be so seamless and how much it would change my fucking life. But yeah, so like having my own cloud storage, I was able to like download like my fucking Google photos and emails, and I've been kind of just like doing like I've been like decentralizing my life, and that's what's happening with men right now. But it's very complicated. This shit is so complex. And as men, we just have to learn rapidly and move on. And we're basically going to places where women cannot go. Like women cannot follow us into these. They can try, but it's going to be very hard because most women, I'm not saying all women are lazy, but a lot of women are lazy and they do not want to put in the kind of work. They want to have us set up their printer for them. They want us to set up, they want us to do all of the work for them. Like they call like how many women have used us to like get free tech labor? I've been used before. I'm not going to lie. Like in the past, we have all been used by women to do things for our skills. I'm a tech guy, so they use me for my tech skills. If you're a plumber, they'll use you for your plumbing skills. If you're a roofer, they use different guys. They basically view us as tools. Different tools for different purposes, right? That's how they view us. But as men, we have to do shit for ourselves, and we like to learn how to do things for ourselves. But we'll put in the work, we'll suffer, and we'll gain. Suffering, you see, men were born to suffer. Not that we should suffer, but we were designed to handle suffering, to work through the hard times, to work through the grit. And that's the big difference. Let me read some of these comments. Harold said, men are escaping, ungrateful financial resources, bad people most affected. It won't read that word. Let's keep going. Ashley had said earlier, are we live? Yeah, bro. Obviously now we are. Shout out to Gunfox. Shout out to Ashy. Shout out to Gunfox. He says, yep, Angry is live. Eesh, it's been weeks. I guess, guys, you have to forgive me. I'm telling you the truth. Like the reason why I haven't been dropping videos regularly, the reason why I haven't been live streaming, the live streaming part I can actually handle. I can because I use StreamYard. Although it was still kind of like I'm making excuses. I could have streamed. I could have live streamed. I just didn't want to. I've been tired and I've been kind of miserable and I just didn't fucking want to. I didn't want to do it. It was being real. I didn't want to fucking live stream. But here I am. In fact, I never even planned. I didn't even plan. I was planning to like jump on here for 10 minutes. Like it's only going to be a 10-minute stream. It's literally I'm only doing 10 minutes, and if they don't like it, fuck them. And then here we are, like 30 minutes later, and I'm still fucking going. Like yeah, it's bullshit. But sometimes you just have to put one foot in the other, and then like you've like started walking, you just keep walking and talking. But it's complicated and women are not going to be able to follow us, guys. Like if you listen to my ramble very carefully, the level of complexity is insane. And the Linux guys are miserable people because they try to gaslight you into believing it's easy. Guys, this is hard shit. It's hard shit. All right, setting up the NAS wasn't crazy hard, but most women would not take the time to learn how to set up a fucking NAS or configure it. I will say that the Ugreen NAS is one of the best. It's been one of the easiest devices to work with, but there's still a major learning curve. All right, you have to do research. You have to like, I'm a guy, so it's different because we basically are designed for this shit. I'm not saying it's easy. You know, most women are guys. They can't follow us to Linux. They cannot. Most women cannot follow us to Linux. They can try, but they can't follow us to Linux. They can try to follow us to Linux, but many of them, if not most of them, cannot follow us to Linux because when shit starts breaking and you have to hop in terminal and everything starts to go to hell, they're gonna cry, and men are not coming to the rescue anymore. They're not gonna be able to call up, the Asian guy, the Asian guy, and try to that works in IT and ask him for help anymore. He's not coming anymore, bro. He's not coming to the rescue anymore. These men are no longer bailing women out. So they can't follow us. They cannot follow us where we are going. We're basically escaping. So go, like, many of us are going over the Linux decentralization. They're trying to put age verification in it. There's this whole California bill where it's trying to basically require all operating systems to have age verification, but it's more of a scare tactic. Hopefully most Linux distributions will not comply, but we have to wait and see. Sub Bro says, Sub Angry. Shout out to Sub Bro. Shout out to Sub Bro. Let me see here. Sub Bro is actually one of my that's one of the members. Shout out to my member. Shout out to my members. Like, shout out to the members on the channel. You know, like, give yourselves a round of applause. Shout out to the channel members. You guys are awesome. You guys are fucking awesome. But yeah. So it is basically a situation now where women can't follow us because men are basically escaping through these hatches. Like, you know, I'm gonna install Graphene OS because basically Google is gonna make sideloading on Android phones near to impossible in the future. Like, if you're not a verified developer, like starting like September 2026 in the like, I don't know if it's just in the US or global, it's basically in many countries, and then completely in 2027, you won't be able to do sideloading anymore easily. It's going to be very, very difficult. What's the solution? Escape to something like Lineage OS or Graphene OS, right? And Graphene OS it's a very privacy focused OS. It's a modified version of Android. So I'm like, I'm gonna install it on my Pixel by the grace of God. I'm just waiting for that to come out now. It's gonna be a nightmare because, like, I have my Pixel working and all, like, guys, like, I'm doing all kinds of insane shit since I moved to Linux. Like, for example, like I have like this thing called like KDE Connect, and I can basically transfer files between my smartphone and my phone and Linux very quickly. I can transfer files. I can transfer, even like, use clipboard. I can copy text, and then instantly it's on my phone or my phone or my computer. It's insane networking. I've been doing a lot more networking since I moved over to Linux. Yeah, I've been doing crazy shit. I've been modifying, like, that's the thing. Like, Linux is kind of a playground for creativity, but things break, and when things break, you have to fix it yourself. Like, yeah, I'm doing shit that I just never thought would be possible. But it's crazy. It's crazy because it's so complex. It's really, really complex. It's really complex. It's really exhausting, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of learning. Like, here we have, like, I just like loaded up Ghost of Tsushima, right? Because we were like just loaded up Ghost of Tsushima, like, and this is a video again running from the NAS. This is literally running from my own home cloud server. And the thing about the NAS is I can access my NAS anywhere as long as my internet connection is active. Like, it doesn't go out, right? This is how crazy it is. As long as the internet connection is active, it does not go out, I can access my NAS from anywhere. So I can be in another country and access all of the data that's stored on my NAS. It's insanity. It is fucking insanity. You literally have your own cloud server, and I can set up a media server on the NAS, and I can basically stream my videos and watch them like it's crazy. You can even, like, the one I have, like, I can sideload it, but I'm not going to. But you could actually run things like Plex and other streaming and other media streamers. But there's also a built-in program as well. So it's crazy. Like, it's like your own little home movie theater, and you can just basically, download your videos, go and get them legally, but download your videos, your shows, or rip them or whatever, and you can store this massive amount of data on your NAS, and you can have your movies, you can have all of this stuff, and you don't have to pay for subscriptions anymore. Now, there are people who are like, well, there's certain things I want to watch. If you want to spend $1 million in subscriptions, go ahead. Me personally, I only watch a few things and then I cancel. But with this, like you can basically build out your own collection of movies once again. And even for like games, like I can't play them off the hard drives because it'd be too slow. Streaming media is just fine. It works perfectly. It works because based on how fast things actually stream and so forth, it's actually you're not it maxes out. It's a physics thing. But in terms of like SSDs, it's different with games. You need solid state drives, but I can at least I can use my NAS to back up my game file. So for example, like if I want to back up a bunch of games from let's say GOG or even Steam, but I would do GOG. I can just back them up to my NAS, and when I want to play them, I just move them over to my solid state drive. And that's so powerful. That's so powerful. Now I'm beginning to understand why people end up with something like 300 terabyte NAS, like 300 terabyte home servers. It's like, what are you doing with 300 terabytes? Yeah, there's some fuckery going on with that shit. These men are not playing games, guys. Men are not simple. Men are simple. Men are simple, but then men are not simple. Men can take guys. Where things are headed is men are going to build houses. Like I figured it out. Assuming everything doesn't completely go to shit, the solution for a lot of men is going to basically be to build our own homes. Because like after like investing so much in like all of this shit, I've just realized, yeah, that's what we're gonna end up having to do, which is normal. What men used to, guys, this is what men used to do in the past. Men built their homes. Like people would they would build their own log cabin. Men, guys, we got fucking lazy. We became so acquainted with easy life, with like being office workers, that we let basic skills go by. And think about this: you had people who like barely finished like middle school that were building homes in like the 14 like the 16 say 14 and like the 1600s, bro, in America. Like you had people hundreds of years ago that came from across the ocean on ships that barely had a proper education, and they were building log cabins and chimneys and on fireplaces and all of this shit. How the fuck did they do that? It's because they learned, and they learned quickly. To be very honest with you, and there's many of you who will try to say it's not true, it's true. I honestly believe that the average man can learn how to build a house within about 6 months. And not only can you learn how to build it in 6 months, but you can probably learn as you go. I truly believe the average man can build his own house. Just like just literally watch some YouTube videos. Like I started watching some YouTube videos, and I quickly started learning construction math. I was like, I don't know how to do this construction math, even though there are people who can barely read and write, building houses and doing all this shit. I can't, I don't know how to do it. And then like, dude, I start watching these. Home Depot literally teaches you construction math, how to measure this, how to take this. They literally teach you construction math. So I'm like watching Home Depot videos. I'm like, holy shit. Home Depot just taught me the shit that I did not like this many years of school didn't teach me in like 2 minutes. Guys, we can build our own houses. We can build our own houses. We can run our own plumbing. We can do all of this shit. We're not supposed to. You don't want to mess with electricity, but we can even do some of our own electrical wiring. I'm not telling you don't fuck with electricity. You should never fuck with electricity, but we can at least do basic electrical wiring. Okay? Telling you that right now. There's this guy on YouTube who basically did like a ton of shit on his own. He's like, I have no bills. He basically turned a shed into a house. A shed. All right, put solar panels and all kinds of shit, and like he basically, it's insane. And he's like, now I have no bills. And that's like the future for men. Like I'm not saying that we're in hard times right now, and it's only going to get worse. But if you're a single childless man, it's very different for you. You're going to men who are able to secure food and housing during the worst of times will be just fine. Like a lot of people hate to hear it, but it's the truth. Men who can secure food and housing childless single men who can secure food and housing when everything goes to hell will mostly be just fine. Because if your basic needs are met, all men need is a simple roof, simple food, and a little bit of entertainment. Okay? Give a man a decent meal. Give a man 3 hots, a cot, and a little bit of entertainment, and he's happy. Because the average man can live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road, but the average woman cannot. What women consider suffering, men consider luxury. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all. Okay? Men love simple living. Men love keeping it simple. There are some guys who are full of shit and they like to bring stress into their lives and other men, which is the reason why you have to avoid these people. But the average man likes to keep shit simple. Let me see here. Thomas said, better late than never angry. Rich says, oh, the ladies are crying all right. They are crying hard. There's a comment that Rich put. He said minimum. He called it minimum maxing. That's exactly what it is. Minimum maxing. Like there's like look maxing. Now there's that's what men are basically going to be doing. Minimum maxing. Minimum maxing. Guys, your friendly neighborhood angry guy needs to go and take a pee. Not a poop. I promise you, it's not a poop. It's just a pee. I need to pee. I need to pee. So here's what I'm going to do. Right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my little tinkle. All right. It's a pee. I don't know why the fuck I'm calling it a tinkle. It's a fucking pee. I need to take a pee. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a pee, and then after I'm done peeing, I'll come right back, and and we'll continue this little. We'll continue this. I'm not gonna leave you. I'm just going to go. I'm just gonna go and handle business for a moment. Let me see here. You know what's so funny? I haven't done this for a while. So I haven't done this. I haven't like done a video for you guys for a while. So it's like, it's a little bit more difficult to do certain things. Let me see here. All right. There we go. So I'll put that on there. We'll be right back. You guys go. I'm going to go pee. Be right back. So what if you guys said, so what if you said minimum maxing, like looks maxing? Basically, men would start taking being minimalism to the to the to the extreme. And you know what's interesting? I thought of it. I was like, we don't need to call it minimizing maxing. It would be min maxing. That's a better way of min maxing. Basically, it's short for minimalism maxing, but it'd be min maxing. And a lot of men are going to do this. A lot of men are basically going to take minimalism to the extreme because men are simplicity for a man is luxury. Of course, again, there are men who they like to basically play with the flames and then they cry when they get burned. However, there are most men rather not be bothered with any of that shit. All right, most men like their peace. And after decades of Me Too, feminism, and he for she, and all these political movements and so much other shit, men want to protect their peace. Men don't want the bullshit in their lives. They want to protect their peace at all cost. So they're not willing to put up with any shit. All right, let's look at this poll right here that I created. All right. So you can see here. You can see here on this poll, right? It's a pretty good poll. Oh shit. Green got fucked up, but yeah. You can see on the poll it's like I'm calling it now. A new golden era is being ushered in for men as we speak, where they'll live simple lives of luxury and comfort. Do you agree? And most people actually agreed. 1.8 thousand votes. 57% agreed. 26% said I disagree. 12% said I don't know. 5% said I don't care. Most those are probably Gen Xers. They don't give a shit about anything. And this was a very good comment. He said, "Yep." This was from Quint. He says, "Yep. As you've mentioned it before, men can live simple, minimalist lives of luxury without women. Right? If I'm living that now, most likely I will not be getting married, and dating is not likely either. It's a huge risk with tons of liability and almost no reward." And of course, there are guys like this, like Lucas, saying, "Brother, we are getting actively screwed over by the people who oversee us, who run our society." And of course we are. But men have always been getting screwed. We've always been getting screwed. We continue to get screwed. What we're doing actively now is we're saying, fuck this shit, I'm out. I don't really care. I'm just gonna get the fuck up out of here. That's what's really happening. Men are done. Men are effectively done with this shit. Okay? Men are essentially done with it. Men have woken up to the nonsense. They've woken up to the bullshit. They've woken up to the games. They're not tolerating it anymore. The average man is no longer tolerating this shit. They're not allowing themselves to be used, to be taken advantage of. They're done with it. They're done with it, and they're walking the fuck away. And of course, women don't like it. They don't like it one bit because they need us to survive. They need us to keep on playing along. They need us to keep on sacrificing. Society needs us to keep on sacrificing. But men aren't doing it anymore. Men are done with that shit. And there's no recourse for it. There's no way of stopping this. You can punish us, but, come on. Like this comment from Home, he says, yeah, currently living it. Work 4 days a week, then game all weekend, sometimes with friends or family. Stick to a budget, and one income is all I need. So guys, even if the empire is falling, it's falling. Assuming, I said this before, that society would not collapse, groups of people in society will collapse. So it may become harder to survive As a family, it may be harder to become harder to survive as a collective, but as individual men, even if prices continue to go up, go up, men will just continue to min max. Perfect term. Only what they need. They will buy from people like butchers and they'll buy from hunters and so game and so forth. All right, men will start going out and hunting if they can. Men basically adapt when things get hard. What do men do? We are built for adaptation. We are built to adapt. Women are not. We are built for survival. Now you have a lot of women who are saying that, they want a provider man. All of these feminist women now are trying to run away from the job market and saying get yourself a man with get yourself a provider man, a man with a provider mindset. Guys, these women deserve liberal the liberal simps or liberal guys, all right? And they don't want these men anymore. Now they're trying to find conservative men, the same guys that they shamed. Come on, bro. Guys, many of them are so cooked. I have I have a video from Manhood, and his channel is linked in the description. Guys, just bear with me a moment. I'm not going to end the stream, but I kind of fucked something up. I don't even know how it got fucked up so bad. I can't, I don't know why this even happens. Let me see if I can fix it. It's nothing that you're noticing on your end, but hold on. What ends up happening on my end is the way that the screen looks ends up changing. So it's like, it becomes like wickedly small. And I don't know what it's a quirk. It's a nasty quirk. Ugh. It's a really, really nasty quirk that happens in it's a really, really nasty quirk that happens in before presenting. Yeah, it's a really nasty quirk that happens in the studio. And I don't know why the fuck it happens, but it does happen. And finding a solution for it can be a real pain in the fucking ass. The only solution that I actually know is kind of basically, yeah, I might just leave it at like this. But yeah, I mean, guys, just give me a sec. Give me a quick sec. Things are just gonna they're gonna look haywire for a moment. I'm just gonna have to leave the stream room and then come right back in, but I'll get everything right back to normal very quickly. Just give me a second, guys. I promise. Promise. I told you guys it would be fine. I told you it would be fine. I just had to kind of reset the room a little bit, so that was just a moment, and I put a video back on for you guys. Let me see here. You want some blasphemous? I'm gonna give you guys some blasphemous. All right, let me give you some blasphemous gameplay. There we go. There you go. There you guys go. You got some blasphemous. Oh gosh, yeah. So we actually have a video from Manhood, and I'm gonna put the video on his channel's link in the description because it kind of reflects what's going on with modern women right now. They're in full-on panic mode because men have walked away, turned their backs on society, and they don't know what to do because women cannot survive without men. They are not designed to survive without husbands. They're not designed to survive without a community or without a family. And now they're trying to, I said this, women would say feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight it together. Women would say feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight it together. Feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight it. Now let's fight for one another. I told you guys that there was going to be a great collapse. There was going to be a great V collapse. I told you women took the V, dipped it in gold, and said, "Worship me." And it was basically a false idol. And now, and what does God do with false idols? He destroys them. So now we are witnessing the destruction of the false narrative of this false idol, and women are basically going to find themselves falling from a place of privilege. I talked about this, that God allowed them to reach the highest peak of, God allowed them to reach the highest mountain, to reach the top of the highest mountain so that they could fall from the highest peak. And now they're falling back down to reality. And because they've spent decades being given everything and never learning how to survive and how to do things on their own and how to struggle, they won't know how to survive this. All right, let's jump into Manhood's video. And again, it's linked in the description.
A man is trying to please a woman, a man will lose his mind trying to deal with that because women ultimately don't even know what they want. And because women are so emotional, it don't matter what you did, all the way up until the moment she's mad. When she's mad, she'll destroy everything because she didn't get her way in these 5 minutes.
I would say things like, just leave me alone. And then he'd actually leave, and then I would get mad because he left, even though that's what I told him to do, but I really meant that I didn't want him to leave, and now he's confused and I'm angry. I finally realized that men can't hear emotion, they can only hear words. You can't say one thing and then mean another and then blame the man. That's on us.
This is a grown-ass woman expecting a man to understand telepathy.
And you know what's funny about this? A lot of women who have female friends, they say that they're going through it right now too. They're going through it right now. A lot of women talk about how hard it is having female friends, like who basically ditch them, who basically gaslight them, who basically ghost them. Even though it seems like the friendship is going, they're like, I'm sorry, girl, I forgot. Like, you know, it's literal bullshit. Like, if like women don't, even women are struggling in friendships. And like, you know, women who also date other women, there's a big pattern. We're seeing, guys, a lot of GAY women don't want to hang out with women. A lot of GAY women will only hang out with men. How strange is that? Because after they begin dating women and having relationships with women, they lose trust. They can't do it anymore. So if they want to play sports, they're going to hang out with the guys. If they want to play cards, they're going to hang out with the guys. If they want to watch television, watch movies, they're going to go hang out with the guys. That's what's happening with a lot of GAY women right now. They don't want to hang out with other women because they can't deal with it. Even hetero women right now are getting pissed off with modern women saying they can't deal with it anymore. It's that bad. Okay? Like, we are literally heading for a point of conflict with most women, where you're going to have one group of women on one side, one group of women on the other side, and men basically sitting on the sidelines, not giving a fuck. And you know, I had a friend years ago, and he was an MGTOW, and he said that it's called henpecking, and he predicted exactly what was going to happen when men left. He said that if you look at a farm, what happens is there's a thing called, you know, when the rooster flies away, the hens begin to get furious with each other and they begin to peck at each other. And that's what happens with men. Men balance women out. And when men remove their presence from society, and women blame men, but as things get worse and worse and worse, and there are no men around, and they have no one to blame, there are no men, they eventually turn on one another and start crying and screaming that they want a man. They need men to come and save them. And when no men come, their fury and anger is levied against each other. Some will blame, a lot of them will blame other women for chasing the men off, while other women will blame them, saying that, well, you're not strong. If you were capable, then you wouldn't need them. You wouldn't need men. Are you serious? You're not. And then they'll say, you're not doing it. You're saying that we don't need men, but look at you. You're not doing anything. You're not able to do any of these things. Well, maybe if you knew how to do this, and you can, guys, here's the craziest thing about women. A man can never win an argument with a woman. But here's the part that they don't tell you. Women also cannot win arguments with other women. Men cannot win arguments with women, and women cannot win arguments with women. Because they're both arguing from a place of emotion. So either they eventually like just kind of like call a draw, and they'll basically say they basically admit they're basically like we were both right, or they don't say they're both right, but they still feel like they were each right. Either they make up like that, because women can never admit that they're wrong, or the friendship just ends. And in most cases, the friendship just ends because women will basically double down. Women will double down. That's how they operate. When they are wrong, they will just double down. So a lot of women are at their wits with their friend. They're at their wits with their female friends, with their female family members. They're at their wits. They're at their wits. Yeah.
Men, you need to be very cautious of the women you bring into your life.
Men are sick of modern women, and this is why. Don't get mad at me, I'm just the messenger. You do not complement that man's life, you complicate it. Men already have to go into the world, in their workplace, around other men. They have to compete 24/7. In order to be considered a high-quality man, you have to be competitive. He deals with all of that in the world already, and then he comes home to you, and you want to compete with him more. Reason number 2, there's no clear win for them. You want them to be strong, not dominant, though. Be sensitive, but don't be weak. Lead, but don't control me. Provide, but don't be transactional towards me. These men have no clear way to win a situation with most of you women. They become fatigued, and that's why they give up on you. You're then a reflection of the confusion they already feel in the world. Men do not get to be held to the same standard as women. They don't get to show their emotions freely and still be seen as strong. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
They are going to come for her for sure. Stay strong, brave one. Men are so done and are not looking back.
I agree with you that men built the system. Men built the entire infrastructure that allows all of us, including men, but especially including women, to have the most comfortable and prosperous and healthy lives that has ever existed in all of human history. And the complete ungratefulness of women.
My God,
I'm not being ridiculous. You women hate, at no other point in human history have women had so much contempt and hatred and disdain for men when it is due to men's genius and ingenuity and labor and physicality that has enabled women to live the most comfortable lives they've ever been able to live. And there's a bottleneck to every cascading invention due to men's increased physical. Look, I know this sounds crazy.
Oh, it is.
In order to live in a skyscraper, there were cascading previous inventions that were necessitated on male strength that women don't possess, that enabled us to build buildings far into the sky for you to live in comfortable, air-conditioned, not just live, but to have a job in a comfortable, air-conditioned office. All of these comforts, it wasn't the evil patriarchy, it was benevolent men. It was typically often like poor men who labored and built this country, and you guys don't give a fuck. You don't care. It's through men's sacrifice, men's labor.
Oh my God.
Men's genius, ingenuity.
Okay, so can I just please stop? This is like really starting to make me uncomfortable.
They say it's crazy every time they hear something that proves they need to take accountability. It's like talking to a brick wall. Why waste your time, bro?
There's women out there that will walk away from a good man talking about, oh, he wanted to go half on rent. He wanted to go half on.
Facts.
Like that is, you know how fatuous and inane that is to say he wanted to go half. First of all, you are responsible for 100% of your life as an adult. 100% of your problems, 100% of your bills, 100% of your stress. And you mean to tell me you had a man right there like, I'll take half of that from you. And you was like, that ain't good enough.
Right.
I want you to take it all. I don't want to have no responsibility as an adult. And that is financial abuse. And that is feminine manipulation and abuse. So then, fellas, you need to walk away.
Last time I checked, paying 50% of something is better than having to pay 100% of something. It just seems like the majority of these women just want to be men to take care of them while offering nothing in return.
Ladies, don't get mad that men are waking up and realizing that it is better to deal with no woman than a masculine woman. It is better to sit around and get some KY or some lotion and go pleasure yourself than deal with a masculine woman. Don't get mad that men are saying, I would rather I'd rather do nothing than deal with a masculine woman. Don't get mad that men are sitting back saying that. Don't get mad that men are, that's what the real issue is. My platform and platforms like mine.
Kevin Samuels warned them for years. He warned them for years, and they tried to act like he was an evil dude, and they celebrated when he passed away. I forget who. Some of y'all know who it was. There was this like Hollywood celebrity. I don't know if it was like Angela Bassett. It was one of them. It was like ladies in Hollywood, like the feminist, the sisterhood celebrated when Kevin Samuels passed away. But you literally had like one of the celebrities come out and she was celebrating on X. I think it was Twitter at that time, and she was celebrating like something like God, like this is like God doesn't like ugly. Like, bro, they didn't listen. They should have listened to Kevin Samuels years ago. When he warned them, when he told them winter is coming, they didn't believe it, guys. This is like biblical shit. Like Noah preached for how many years did Noah preach for? He preached for a very, very long time. Noah preached about the flood. How long did Noah? Let me see. Warn. Let me see here. How long did Noah warn the people? Noah is believed to have warned the people for 120 years, y'all. So based on Genesis 6:3 and traditional interpretations, Noah is believed to have warned the people for 120 years. This period represents God's patience and the time it took for Noah to construct the ark, during which he acted as a preacher of righteousness. Second Peter 2:5, warning of impending judgment. 120-year period. While not explicitly stated, the preaching duration, Genesis 6:3 indicates God gave a 120-year grace period before the flood. 120 fucking years, bro. And Noah began building the ark during this time, serving as a visual warning. And he served his role. There was his role as a preacher. And Second Peter verses 2 Peter was it chapter 2 verse 5 and 1 Peter 3:20 imply Noah actively preached repentance to his generation, who largely ignored his warnings. Although the Bible does not explicitly say Noah preached for 120 years, this figure is a widely held interpretation. Kevin Samuels preached for years. It wasn't 120 years, but he preached for years. I've been doing this for over 10 years now. Over 10 years. Many of y'all know it's been over 10 years now since I've been on YouTube, since I've been talking about this, since I've been talking about the collapse that I told you was coming. I've been talking about the Great V collapse forever. I told you it's going to be like the Great Humiliation. Okay? And I said that society won't collapse. Groups of people in society will collapse. If y'all don't know what the laws are right now, homelessness in America is essentially illegal. What you think is going to happen is that you're going to have a bunch of homeless people on the streets. The harsh reality is that you're going to have a bunch of homeless people that are going to be living in their car, primarily homeless women that are going to be living in their cars, living on the streets, living in the woods, okay? But here's the thing, because homelessness is illegal in most places, they're not going to let these people be homeless. They're going to be in tent city. That's exactly what's going to happen. They are going to be in tent cities. And once you go into tent city, you don't come out if you don't have a plan, if you don't have somewhere to go, if you don't have a family member that can come and get you and put you up, you are never leaving. You're not leaving tent city. You will be stuck in tent city for years, if not the rest of your fucking life. It's going to be a nightmare. Because the moment you try, guys, you will not be. Tent city in many ways will be it's basically forced incarceration. You're not allowed to leave. You can't do shit. All right? It's really a form of imprisonment. People didn't listen. People didn't fucking listen. I don't know, guys. I tell you, when people don't and modern women, because they operate solely based on emotions, no matter how bad things get, they will never listen. The most that they will do is when things get really bad, they're going to demand that men, they're already doing it, demand that men come and save them. Because they're entitled to men, they're entitled to men, to the provision of men. It's insane. But you have to understand, they're not operating from a place of logic or reason, only emotion. And and the only thing that they trust are their feelings. And when everything collapses around them, when they have nothing left and there's nowhere else to turn, that's when and only when they'll finally say, I listened to my emotions and they betrayed me. They won't even take accountability for choosing to listen to their feelings over reality, even over their friends sometimes, who may tell them, listen, girl, you need to stop with this. Okay? And they can't do it. They won't, they can't listen. Even the women, because there are some women who will look at reality and say, okay, yeah, I need to switch it up. This is not working. Even the women that will tell them this, you can't do this anymore. You're not going to make it if you keep going down this path. They will cut that woman out of their lives. They will say that she is a fucking hater. Someone who is trying to save them because they are telling them the reality of things. They will turn on them. And they will go down, they will stay on that horse and go down with that sinking ship, believing that they are right, no matter what. I remember years ago, I told you the story. There was a video, I can't find it. If I look hard enough, maybe I could find it. It was on YouTube. And this guy, he was doing interviews and he went into like this, there were like these tunnels that people live in like California somewhere, I think. And he got permission to go into the tunnels, and there were people living in the tunnels, living in these tunnels, like under San Francisco or LA, some shit like that. And there were different people. There was like one guy living down there, and he was like, "How did you end up living in the tunnels?" I worked on Wall Street, and I lost everything, and now I'm homeless and living. And it made perfect sense. And then there was this one woman, that he interviewed, and he was like, "How did you, why are you living in the tunnels? Why don't you know why?" She looked like 60, but I think she was really in her 50s. And he said, "Why are you living in a tunnel? Like, why don't you have a husband or kids, or why didn't you get married?" And this woman had the gall to say, "I know my worth. I know my worth. I know what I deserve." The guy who was interviewing her was literally like, "What the fuck?" And don't keep in mind, it's dangerous down there. But he was in just such fucking shock at the words that had just come out of her mouth. And he was like, "Sheila, are you out of your fucking mind? You are living in a fucking tunnel." And she's like, "I know my worth." She refused to compromise to the point that she would rather live in a tunnel underground in squalor, homeless, extreme poverty, than settle. That is how modern women in Western society operate today. That's why women and men are going overseas and starting new lives with Filipino wives. Because these women can never be happy. These are women who had everything. They had the house, they had the car, they had everything. And they threw it, they had a business, and they had a great partner, and then they threw it all away because they were miserable in their marriage. Their feelings told them to leave. And they took half of everything, they took half of the house and blah, blah, blah. And they spent all of that money. They spent it all. All right? Because women are not good at budgeting. They took it, they went on vacations with it, they had fun with it, and now they're homeless and living in their cars in a short period of time. And they want their husbands back. And they try to pretend and act like this was a choice that they made for themselves, and they're so happy with having less, and they want other women to see how wonderfully they're doing. Like, guys, that's delusion for you. That's literal delusion for you, because misery loves company. And when men will tell other men, don't you dare do the things that I did. Don't you dare make the same mistakes that I made, right? For example, Trump, his brother had a problem with alcohol, and ultimately he ended up passing away as a result of it. And he said to this is a story that Trump says. I don't know if it's true or not, but he said his brother told him, Donald, don't you ever drink. Don't ever touch alcohol, because if you have just one, you're going to like it. And he said that's the reason why he never drinks. Right? You see, when men fuck up, we tell other men to learn from our mistakes and do not repeat our mistakes. When women fuck up, they say that they're doing wonderful. They're doing fabulous. They're super happy. And they're so happy that they did exactly what they did. And they just want other women to know that they should also do exactly what they did, so they can also enjoy these lives, the same lives that they're living. Because men try to prevent other men from going down the same bad paths and making the same mistakes that they made, so that other men don't suffer the way they did. Women tell other women, younger women, to do exactly what they did, because misery loves company. And by getting other women to make the same bad decisions that they've made and make the same mistakes, now they can validate their own bad decisions by having a bunch of other women in the same hole as them. So they can now validate their own bad decisions, because other women are now choosing to repeat those same bad decisions. They don't care where it actually leads. They just don't want to be alone, because misery loves company. This is the reason why they're saying exist when it comes to relationships with women. You can either love them or you can understand them, but you can't do both.
Are places where men can come and talk. And men are speaking up, and they're mad because so many men are not waking up. So many women are discovering that the men to the right and to the left of them, they've been woke all along. They just didn't know that what the men were thinking. Now they know what men are thinking. And the thing is, gentlemen, you get to decide. You get to decide what is a 9 or a 10 or an 8 or a 6 to you. You get to determine what is too much weight for you. You get to decide if she has kids from another man, whether you don't want to deal with it. You get to choose every bit of that. And they can't take it from you. You are not a second-class citizen, black man. You are the man. And it doesn't matter how much insults, how much little dick energy, how much they want to cuss and fuss and blah, blah, blah. It's just talk. They can't do shit about it if you don't believe it. It's chihuahua barking. Chihuahuas bark loudly because they can't do shit with their bite. Don't worry about chihuahuas. Let them do what they do. Keep on moving. Because the only reason they're barking is because they're not getting what they want. And if you know what it is you want, take nothing instead of settling for masculine women. And just like I told that one woman, treat in the black community treat black men like you treat the white boss, that white institution, like the white man in your mind.
Attractive girls get online and say and do stuff. That's who they be focused on. So every time you see a pretty girl make a video and talk about how she be disgusted when men talk to her when she out, how she don't like it when men look at her, men have conversations with her, don't talk to her. Like, when she makes videos like that, the men are paying attention. When women like that are making videos, the men are paying attention, right?
Yeah.
And so they figure, okay, well, this must be what it is. This must be what women want, right? It don't matter about the women who ain't really that attractive, who get online and be like, oh my God, we want you to talk to us when you out. Like, they're not listening to you. They listening to the girls who they find attractive and what those girls are saying, right? So you can't counteract the girls who they find to be attractive and them saying silly stuff online. So back to the point. Because those girls are getting online and saying silly stuff like that, when men go out now, They not hollering at you. They not bothering you. And they not getting up out their seat to let you have it. You know what?
Man, y'all don't want to leave your house? No. Stay away. Stay away. We are in the house. Gym, home, work, home again. Maybe go to mama house. Maybe go to dad house. That's about it. I'm not going to say we not messing with y'all, but y'all not about to mess up our peace. Y'all been trolling us ever since y'all got on this internet. Ever since that creator fund came out, y'all been acting up, talking out y'all necks, and now when you go outside, there ain't nobody to be outside with. I knew y'all would get tired of being with your girls. You can only go on so many dinner dates with your girls and act like you having fun. We in the house. You said leave you alone. You chose the bear. Now what? Go on a date with the bear.
Listen, I thought this.
Y'all, of all things, y'all, that's the one thing I will say this. Y'all, men from all around the world, if there was anything, and like Me Too was like, I think Me Too was the final straw, but I don't know, guys, like, if Me Too was the final straw, the bear, women choosing the bear was the final shovel of dirt. Like they just like that was the end of burying the relationship. Men took the bear, bro. Men took that bear shit so personal. So basically, for those of you that don't know about the whole bear thing, there was a survey conducted evidently where they polled women from like all around the world. I think that's I read it was around the world. I don't know if that's completely true, but they polled women all around the world and they basically asked, if you were alone in the woods, which one would you rather run into, a bear or a man? And most women chose the bear. And what surprised me is they were like, this is a global poll. So that means that women worldwide, that shows you the impact of feminism on women worldwide, where women worldwide by majority chose the bear. Now, of course, we have to be careful because I don't know if the poll was only in Western countries, which it probably was. That means probably the U.S. and so forth. But that showed the U.S. and Australia, and but it just shows you how misandrist it is. And when men, there were some women, of course, like Roma Army. I know you don't like Roma. Some of y'all are not fans of Roma. I have no beef with Roma. Don't want any beef. Don't want any beef. Don't want any. Don't want any of that smoke. But I bring her up for a reason because she was like, a bear. Are you ladies out of your fucking mind? If you go and fuck with the bear is gonna fuck you up. Of course you would choose a man. But guys, let me tell you something. This shows you how women think and operate. Women, like, if you're facing down certain defeat, and women would basically choose defeat over the man, even though they would still expect the man to come and save them. If a woman runs into a bear in the woods, she would expect a man to appear out of nowhere and save her from the bear. There's a case right now that I read where a man helped a woman, and then she made a false claim against him, and now she's going to be spending 2 years in prison for it. Right? He came, like, something happened, he helped her, and then she made a false claim against him. And thankfully they were able to figure it out, but she's only getting 2 years in prison while his entire life could have been destroyed. How stupid is that? And more often than not, the women who go to prison for these things, they're not going to prison for making a false claim against the man. They're going to prison for, like, wasting police time. Because it is absolutely not illegal to make false claims. It is not illegal one bit in most countries, in most societies, to do that to a man. In Germany, for example, I believe that it is actually illegal and it can carry some serious time, but realistically, I don't think it really does. They say it, but I don't think they actually mean it. But in most circumstances, most situations, when women go to jail for false accusations, it's not because of the accusation itself. It's because of, like, wasting police time. It's because if they lied to investigators, they're going to jail for those things, and they act like the man is getting justice. The man isn't getting fucking justice. Gotta be kidding me. Gotta be fucking kidding me. Let's go look at some of these comments. Ugh. You know what's fucked up? And I realized I had this comment pinned the entire time. Ah, fuck. I had this comment pinned all of this time. Ashley says, they got what they asked for. Not my problem. My bills are paid. I eat good and sleep better. Pretty much where it's going. You know? Pretty much where it's going. That comment from James is very true. He says, feminism only wants power, but can't handle power from what I understand. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Let's keep going. Knight says, yep, nothing in return except back talk and not good enough, blah, blah shit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ashley says, Aaron Clary just did a video calculating the return on investment on self-service versus dating. It's wild. No, it's what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing right now is insane. Okay? It's insane what men are dealing with. It's insane what men have been dealing with for so long. You know? And it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over for dating and relationships. And it's not coming. Women don't, guys, women, that's the reason why women need men to make certain decisions for them. Because if you leave it up to women, you know, they are not acting in their own best interest. They're absolutely not. They are literally not acting in their own best interest. I'm actually glancing over at Aaron Clary's channel because he said that he just did a video on it, but it looks like he mostly does these live streams. Oh, this video. What's the return? What's the ROI, return on investment for adult content? Let's see here. That's actually, that might be a good video. That might be a good video to check out. It's more of a live stream though, but it's a pretty long, lengthy video. It's a pretty lengthy video, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I just realized something now. I just realized I can actually just start downloading my videos directly to my NOS. Like I yeah. Let me see here. We're still watching the manhood video, but maybe we'll check out a little of the Aaron Clary video. It's a stream. I don't know how long.
Fuck, is this it?
All right, there we go.
You're such an asshole.
You're on fire. You're doing your research. It's like, look, someone gave me a good request, right? Fucking woman calls up. Hey, fuck, is this important? No. Okay, I have to go. Okay. They have a 7th sense or 12th sense. We're like, hey, you know, my guy is really involved in something right now. I better prevent it. He's on fire. We better knock that shit out. This little fucking annoying angel, shoulder angel of annoyance says, hey, call your boyfriend now. Interrupt them at this moment in time. A lot of thought went into this request. And if you have a request, you could go to assholeconsulting.com, where I, truly the only world's professional asshole, but a truthful one, will answer your questions as long as you got money and you pay me. Or you can hire McKinsey, and then they'll be like, oh my God, DEI. Can't be first time writing in. My older brother. Oh, that's right. My older brother got me into your books. Thank you. You're like the straight brother I never had. Touche, sir. I'm going to presume your older brother sees that. That's good. I read your book of numbers. I also watched your video. Women need to be better than Nebraska. They need to be better than corn, because the previous video I did, the one you mentioned, that got demonetized. So today we're going to act like little 7-year-olds with the fascist censoring school marm of Big Mommy YouTube, and we're going to act like children and come up with phrases. But I did not see what the ROI is on rubbing one out versus getting laid once. Okay, it's very good that you made that precise, because when I was going through the numbers, I'm like, well, we have to have our definitions defined, our terms defined. In your numbers and research, have you ever come across or did this calculation? How much to calculate this? If you have not, thanks for all you do, Anon. And say hi to your gay brother for me. That's all right. I have not done this. I have some of the numbers in the research to do it. And so let's go through the huge amount of assumptions and premises that went into this. All right, first, what is prawn? What is Nebraska? What is corn? Is it an addiction? Is it? But you made it very clear as stating it as rubbing one out, and it is a substitute for sex. One event of sex, and I'm going to assume not married people, because that's going to throw off the whole calculations. I'm assuming you're a single man. I'm also going to assume the men are in their 20s, because the data I'm pulling is from when I was in my 20s. So we're just going to go with that. And therefore, rubbing one out is a substitute for sex. Therefore, that is the what we're going to measure. Now, I'm going to call it a ROO, an ROO, rubbing one out. So the unit of corn we are using is a ROO, which I'm going to assume takes 5 minutes. This also assumes you're not an addict and you're using it for recreation and you're bored and you have nothing else to do. This is a swap out. I need to have an O. I need to ROO. And therefore, it's going to be 5 minutes. Then I'm going to go on with the rest of my day. 3. This calculation does not account for intangible things we can't measure that are benefits that come from women, like love, warm fuzzies, gifts from them, and women smelling nice. This is only a financial and time chronological calculation, which I'm going to embed and ultimately calculate opportunity costs, because time does come at a financial cost. So don't worry about that. 4 assumes you are average as defined by competing and equally attractive women. All right. And I'm going to use my experiences in the past, which I know is selection bias, but we ain't got anything else because I don't know the data doesn't exist out there except for maybe Roosh V's books, his Bang books, because he did keep somewhat meticulous notes. That's the only place I know that has better data or has data. But we're basically recreating me now and taking my experiences in the past, which results will vary. I'm giving you a big what. We're just trying to get in the ballpark here. We're not trying to get to something as specific as second base. So you are not a 6 going after 9s. You are not a 6 going after 2s. You are 6 going after 5s to 7s. You're in your lane. We're going based on my historical data because it's going to take too damn long to find any other.
Let me make this very clear. There's no such thing as a fucking 7. There's no such thing as a fucking 7. I'll tell you the reason why. A 7 is a number that we use to be nice. You're either a 6 or you're an 8. Because everyone's, oh, I'm a 7. A 7 is bullshit. You find out what a person actually is when you have to rank them. When you say no 7s, either they're an 8 or they're a 6. Back when I was in my prime, in my late 20s, I was like gym and everything else. If I had to rank myself, and I said no 7s, I was an 8. At my absolute prime, best fitness, everything, I was an 8. I wasn't a fucking 6. I was an 8. And I know I was an 8 because of how people looked at me and how people treated me. I was a fucking 8. 100% a fucking 8. And even then, it was still stressful dealing with these chicks. Most women today are 5s and 6s. No make, even as soon as they take their makeup off, that's a 5 right there. That's not even a 6. That's a fucking 5. See, as men, we have to actually work on ourselves, work on our bodies. We have to work hard to look good. There's no makeup. I heard stupid shit like women saying like, "Oh, your facial hair is your makeup." That's such bullshit. Men are actually the more attractive gender. You know how? Simple. Because if you tell a woman to wash her face, she can't. All right? Which is the more attractive gender? Men. Because if you tell a woman, okay, which one is the most, I actually saw it like on X, which is the more attractive gender, men or women? And women go, women, okay, cool. Here, please wash your face. Please wipe your makeup off, clean your makeup off. They immediately panic because they know that as soon as they take their makeup off, they're no longer more attractive than the average man. They are less attractive. Because the average woman cannot survive without makeup. Men are the more attractive gender.
Serious amount of data otherwise. This will not include. Oh, I changed this. Okay, so here's a premise that still is going to hold. We are not going to be including non-defined searching costs. Okay, and what I mean by that, and a lot of this is outdated, but when you go to a nightclub, are we going to consider that? By all means, that is a searching cost. But are you going to the nightclub exclusively to find women? Were you going out to hang out with your buddies? Do you go to college solely to make more money to get women? Right? So these are not defined. They're hybrid. They're gray area. I'm just getting rid of all these. Now, this means at the end of the day, the numbers I cite are definitely on the low end. When you factor in, well, I wouldn't recommend you do this, but I'm going to buy more expensive clothes to get the girls. I'm going to buy a fancier car and take on a loan to get the girls. That definitely will throw off the numbers. I also, though, however, I didn't want to get too high up in the sky. I wanted to be focused. Here's an event getting laid. How much do I have to date and the cost associated with that to get one girl to sleep with me one time? And then we're going to compare that very finite, concrete measure to the 5 minutes I estimate it takes somebody to rub one out. I mean, if you can rub one out in 2 minutes, you increase your rate of return by 250%. So, so I do have some searching costs, which I think you're going to find relevant, yet also interesting compared to the generations, because it's surprising how exact they are using different techniques and 30 years later. But I'll leave that surprise for later. We are comparing the dating cost to sex, and we're also going to include online dating in one scenario, which is the average person spends 50 minutes a day on dating apps. That thankfully is down from 90 a short 4 years ago, based on the data I saw way back in the day when I wrote the book of numbers. So it is good. We're starting, you boys and you girls are starting to figure out that dating apps are a waste of time. Here's another perfect example of the non-defined searching costs. What about social media? Are you exclusively on Instagram to find girls? Are you exclusively on Facebook to find girls? No, but those are largely becoming the places that you find girls. So this is imperfect, but it's enough for you to make a financial decision or an economic decision. We are going to be taking explicit cash expenses spent on dates, and then also lost wages, money you could have made had you not gone on the date, to calculate your total financial cost. Some people.
So basically, I'm just going to skip to the good part. I use AI a lot, so I just went over to Grok and asked it to do a little sheet for us and tell us what the actual numbers are. Grok says the video by Aaron Clary calculates return on investment for a man seeking sexual release, comparing rubbing one out / corn versus pursuing physical intimacy through dating. So when it comes to rubbing one out and while using adult content, the time is about 5 minutes. The cost is $0, and the risks are minimal. There are no STDs, no drama, no rejection. The return on investment is infinite. Absolutely. This is assuming that you don't have any problems with corn, you don't have any problems with addiction for this stuff. then the return on investment is infinite. Unbelievable. Either based on the calculations using the parameters that he specified. So basically, return on investment, effectively infinite, free, instant, zero effort beyond the act. Allows time/money for productivity, investing, or self-improvement. Now, if we look at dating/relationships to get laid just once, this is insane. The average effort to get laid just once requires 66.5 hours total. Dates plus app swiping plus being stood up. So a man has to invest almost 70 hours to get laid just once. And then there's also the direct cost, which works out to $910 for dates, and then also $787 in lost wages, resulting in $1,700 of out of pocket. So it costs the average man almost $2,000 and 70 hours of investment, 70 hours of effort, which includes the dates, the apps, and being stood up. All of these things factored in, the direct cost and the amount of money that he loses going on these dates and investing in not going on these dates and investing his time and effort into these dates, that accounts to almost $2,000 in direct cost and 70 hours of investment. That's crazy. That's insane. And of course, that's going to be spread over a longer period of time. The opportunity cost compounded to retirement equals $40,000 per lay. So if you were to compound the amount of money that these men are spending, and you were to compound that, like if you took that money and you invested it, I guess, in the stock market, if you took that money and invested it from, a man from, let's say a young man in his 20s, took that money and invested it. I assume that's what he did in the video. And he took that almost $2,000, that's $1,700, invested it in mutual funds. From the time he's like 25 years old to the time that he retires, that would work out to $40,000. $40,000? This is that's insane. He risked rejections, emotional waste, STDs, and potential drama. The return on investment, extremely low. It requires 789 times more effort than rubbing one out for the same release. So physical intimacy via dating costs roughly match high-end escorts. Okay? The cost, so guys, a high-end escort, you can basically, the amount of money that you will end up spending and losing is so high that you'd be better off hiring a high-end escort, getting it over with and moving on with your life. You would save significantly more time. You'd get a much better return on your investment. You would avoid the drama. The experience would be substantially better because it would be focused on your likes versus hers. Bottom line per video, physical intimacy. So rubbing one out while using adult content delivers a massively higher return on investment, financially infinite, and time efficient. While dating is a high-cost, low-return activity for casual intimacy. Long-term relationships may improve per lay return on investment, but add huge lifetime risk/cost. $9.6 million opportunity cost per his book. So The average man will lose out on $9.6 million in the opportunity to generate $9.6 million when you factor in the amount of time lost and the cost just to get laid once. When that money is when that time and money is invested elsewhere, a man is losing almost $10 million in opportunity over the course of his life. $10 million. Guys, what's happening here is men are doing the math. Men are doing the math, realizing it was never worth it, and they're walking the fuck away. They're running the fuck away. They're not putting up with this shit. They're like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. I don't even care. I'm just gonna get the fuck up out of here. That's what's going on. Angie is such an evil motherfucker. She is such a wicked motherfucker. This is an evil guy. Yeah, she said, can't wait for those weekend cookouts outside of Tent City. So basically, all right, a lot of these guys, a lot of these bad boys have these terrible ideas in their heads for years now that when everything goes to shit, they're going to throw barbecues outside of the tent cities. They're going to feed Tyrone in the tent city because Tyrone is the king of tent city. And I'm telling you, I can see this absolutely happening because they want the hungry ladies in the tent city to smell the good food, but they won't be able to touch it. They won't be able to taste it, but they will send some meals in for Tyrone, Pancho, Enrique. This is some fucked up dudes. These are some fucked up dudes. All right. Holy shit, you guys are fucking terrible. You guys are fucking terrible. Supro goes, the rise of Tyrone. Holy shit. Holy shit. Rich says, they'll be tricked into thinking Tent City is as luxurious as these nursing home communities. Holy fuck. I keep telling you, the average man doesn't need much to survive. Even if, guys, it takes a lot for society to collapse. When we talk about the fall of the empire, it doesn't necessarily mean the collapse of American society. It just means that America will no longer be the dominating global empire that it once was. That's really what it means for the American empire to collapse. When I did a bit of research, it turns out that even if the system collapsed in America, America could basically still adapt very quickly to a full system collapse. Because of the way that society is structured, because of our system, we can actually adapt to a full system. We can evidently adapt to a full system collapse. It wouldn't be easy. It would not be easy, but we could adapt. We could. We can still survive because we produce our own food. We produce our own food. We have a military. We have a significant police force. We have infrastructure, mobile infrastructure, so we can move food. We can reallocate resources. There are things that can be done to keep people alive and going, even if the system goes to shit. All right. Even if the system collapses, society can still survive and transition to something different. And you would have a bunch of subsystems within each state. Because remember, states typically operate independently of each other. Even if you have a total federal, even if the federal government were to collapse, okay, the state governments would still remain functional for the most part. Places like Florida would heavily still remain functional. They have a local economy. All right. Texas, functional. The places that would go to hell would be places like California. All right. They would fall apart very, very quickly because of crazy spending and crazy ideas. They're not practical. So it's really the American empire that is facing collapse, but it's not necessarily American society that's going to completely collapse. That's what I'm thinking. Because it takes a lot for society to completely collapse. Groups of people in society will collapse, but society itself will likely survive. Let me see here. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. What was this guy? Faction says sounds like District 9 existence. Oh, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Let me keep going. Let's keep going. My MC says in the homeless. We see here delusional. It is delusion. It is 100% delusion. I'm looking through your comments right now. Looking through your comments. Oh gosh, you're some mean motherfuckers. Gun Fox said Tent City already is a thing. In fact, there are a few of them. They are in California, Africa, India, and others. The rat overlords are as big as dogs, and if people do not pay their rent, they get mean. Holy shit. Yeah, those rats are not gonna fuck around. Guys, don't forget, I grew up in New York, so I know a thing or two about subway rats. Guys, those are some mean motherfuckers. Y'all, they throw hands. All right? Y'all, they throw fucking hands. Like rats in New York City, they throw hands. When I say they throw hands, they throw hands, bro. These are some bad fucking rats. They're not mice. These are big guys. They will fuck you up. They take on people. They take on humans, and they will win. They will take a piece out of you. And if you think you're gonna take them, you don't really beat a subway rat. Just being real with y'all, you don't really beat you. I've never really seen anyone defeat a subway rat, but I've seen people get defeated by subway rats. Okay, these motherfuckers walk around like they think they're the kings of New York. Some really horrible motherfuckers. We keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep looking at these comments. Gunn says that he said women wanted to eat crow, and now they can go eat crow. And when 50% or 60% of them are unmarried/childless and unable to get a date, will be interesting to see the reaction of the state and the boomers. The boomers right now are in freaking hell, guys. A lot of baby boomers are ending up in states of desperation, despair, and like there's like these phones now. If I could find the video, let me see if I'm not gonna put it on because I don't want to deal with copyright. But it's like there's these like phone a boomer, like you can phone a boomer. Like it's ridiculous shit because like they're literally so alone right now. Their kids have abandoned them, the bastards. Yeah, Chubby says that women will double and triple down until society is too broke to support them. We're already there. We are literally there right now, and they're demanding men come and rescue them. They're basically just gaslighting. James says that the numbers that I read sounds about right. It's ridiculous about the cost for most guys just to get laid. Yeah, no, it's psychotic. It's psychotic. Like it's stupidity at this point. Gun Fox says California, New York City, Detroit, and Chicago are already collapsing. Baltimore has already collapsed, where the kids cannot even do the basics and are unhireable. Yeah, we're gonna like if you have kids, you're gonna have to educate your kids yourself. It's basically you need to learn how to grow your own food. You need to learn what food is safe to eat, what food is not. You're gonna have to raise your kids. You're gonna have to teach your kids. Like homeschooling is basically the only option. Like that's it. There's no other option. Like even private school is a terrible option. You can send your kids to public school and they can basically get state indoctrination, or you can send them to private school where they get religious indoctrination. Right? You have to teach your kids how to read using phonetics, like we had when we were growing up. Gen X had phonetics. Millennials, some of them had phonetics. All right, we grew up learning phonetics. That's how you teach your fucking kids to read. You teach them to read using phonetics. All right? You teach them math using math. All right? Just it's like 1 + 1 = 2. Okay? You have one thing, you add it to another thing. Now you have to teach your kids yourself. All right, teach them the history you want them to learn. Teach them the math you want. Guys, you don't need more than you don't need most kids don't need more than addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You don't need more than that. Exponents is a bonus. 99% of people will never use exponents in their life. All right. Parentheses, it's nice to know how to use them, but you don't need more than addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You don't need more than those four. Okay? And I literally worked in accounting. I've had crazy jobs, okay? And I can tell you one of my degrees is in business. And I can tell you, you don't need more than those. You don't need more than those. Faction says, what the fuck? 1 + 1 = 2 for now. ... The fuck. Oh gosh. Gunfox says, it's wild. Colleges are seeing more women, but 63% of borrowers reported having difficulty making their student loan payments, and that number will only grow. Yeah, they won't be able to pay. They will never be able to pay these loans off. Modern women will never, ever, ever be able to pay this shit back. They won't. It's done. It's over. It's literally over. They made these choices, they made these decisions, and this is where they're at right now. This is where they're at right now. And they think that they have the right to the attention of men, and that men have to come and save them. They traded men for the state, and now the state is broke, and they believe in their minds that it is the job of men to come and rescue them. It is absolute delusion. It's delusion, because when you are listening to only your fifis, it is delusion. But that's where we're at. We are dealing with the absolute insane level of delusion. Going back to, guys, I'm seeing this video. I didn't even know it was there. First look at Linux Fedora 44. This might be the greatest Fedora ever made. No, seriously. I'm wondering, what the fuck? What, how good? I mean, I really enjoy Fedora 43. I guess that's what I'm on. I think I'm on Fedora 43. It has to be. I'm pretty sure it's Fedora 43. Let me double check. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm on Fedora 43, but I mean, they're Fedora 44 is going to be yeah, it's Fedora. It's Fedora 43. I figured out how to find about. I'm on Fedora 43 Workstation Edition. Yeah, 96 gigabytes of RAM. People would have thought I was crazy buying 96 gigabytes of RAM before all of this shit went down. And look at me now. Look at me now. Let me see here. Crunchyroll. I just got billed for Crunchyroll. Yeah. We might watch the video together. Let me see. Linux text. I don't know. I do want to watch that video with you guys about Linux. I have a video about Linux here. Yeah. Let me go ahead and download this. Let me download that. I think Uncle Angry needs another P. I think old Uncle Angry, it's not that old yet. I'll be 43 this year. I think Uncle Angry needs another P, right? Uncle Angry is going to go. He's going to go and take another P, and he'll be right back. I'm going to go enjoy him. I'm going to have a P, guys. You can go. I should be back within just 5 minutes, less than that. but you can go and take a tinkle if you need to as well. I'm going to go take a quick pee. Be right back, boys. came back from my tinkle. Came back from my little pee. Could have been longer. Could have been longer. But I did return from my pee. Returned from my pee. You know, guys, like I said, it's like a miserable. I'm just going to have to like tough it out trying to figure out Caden live. Because I've got to set the work. I got close, but I have to set the workspace up in a way that it feels comfortable. So it's similar to Filmora. And then learn how to edit on it as quickly as I can so that I can begin releasing content for you guys. You know, guys, I'll tell you, like, I love visual novels for the stories, of course, but a lot of visual novels also, you know, they do shift towards the adult side, and I do place a lot of those games as well. I am 100% a gooner. I am not ashamed to say it. Like, I am a proud gooner. And it's like the experiences that you have from a visual novel and the characters and the relationships are just so much better and more touching, and you feel more, and it's like, you know, love isn't real, but man, it feels real in that moment because it puts you in a perspective, in like the shoes of another person in another world and it's just so different. It's just such a much better experience than modern day relationships. It's the honest to goodness truth, you know. It's the honest to goodness truth. Like I don't know, like, but I'll say it. I'm a proud gooner. I'm a proud gooner. For those of you that don't know what gooner is, like, go look it up. It's not like a goon from the old days where it's like it was like a criminal, like, or like you're a part of like a henchman. No, a gooner is something else now. Gooner is something else, for those of you that don't know. And I have no shame in my gooning game. Not in the least. Linux, guys, I tell you, Linux is a fucking nightmare right now. It is, but it's actually, but like, you don't want to go back. Like, I definitely don't want to go back to Windows, right? So it's like, I'm happy over it, guys. Like, I'm doing all kinds of insane shit. Like, the things I'm able to do here compared to Windows is insane. Like, literally, I have my phone connected like through a thing called KDE Connect. It's Genome Connect on my computer. It's KDE Connect, and I'm able to like do all of this shit. Like, I can fucking send files. I have multimedia controls and remote. I can use my phone as a mouse instantly. Run commands. It's fucking insane. Send clipboard between the two, between my phone and it's like from vice versa, you know. I've got my NAS set up, green NAS, which is insane. Like, guys, like, I mean, like, literally, I just opened it up and I can download videos. I could put things directly onto the NAS instantly, videos, movies, pictures. It's like, I don't have to send that shit to my to Google Drive anymore. It's psychotic, bro. It's fucking insane. It's insane. It's insane what I can do. Like, the freedom. Like, men are, guys, what we're doing as men is we're digging tunnels of freedom right now. Like, we're digging tunnels. We're digging tunnels. All right, we are fighting for freedom, and women cannot follow us because it's complex. Like, what are guys doing? A lot, guys, they said that men are playing fewer video games and spending more time gambling, using adult content, and trading crypto. And basically, what guys are doing with crypto is that if you learn how to day trade crypto, you can make easily. Let's say you day trade crypto, like $300. You could easily make $30 to $50 a day just day trading $300. All right, $50 a day. You can easily make $50 a day day trading crypto, day trading $300, especially once you know what you're doing and everything. Working an hour, 2 hours a day. And you have to understand, if you're making $50 a day, right, working 1 to 2 hours a day, all right, okay, every single day, because you have your bots running, trading bots running, you're just checking in, you're not sitting at a computer all the time. Okay, you're just paying attention here and there, and you're doing this every single day, right? That works out to $1,500. And that's that's on the very low end. Now imagine if a guy is trading, let's say, $600, and he's making around $100 a day trading $600 a day, right? Day trading $600 a day, and he's only investing 1 to 2 hours. So now that's $100 a day, and he's doing that every single day on average. That works out to $3,000 a month. So I think you're seeing where I'm going with this. If a guy can pull in $3,000 a month just day trading crypto, right? That works out to $36,000 a year. And you have to understand the math behind a lot of this, because once you fall into a certain income bracket, you can do things like apply for Medicaid, apply for food stamps, apply for a bunch of different things. So you can get free, you get free health insurance, all right? You may qualify for food stamps. You qualify for a bunch of different things, and your day trading income, it doesn't count in the same way as general income, right? Because it's not business income. If you're running a business, then that's different. But the money that you would make from day trading, it's not the same as 9 to 5 income. It's not the same as working a job. You still have to pay taxes on it, but it's not the same. It's not the same. So you can definitely collect something like food stamp, like something like Medicaid, and your base, as long as a man's basic needs are met, he has roof over his head, decent food, and a little bit of entertainment, he's good. 3 hots and a cot. And some guys are happy. There are a lot of guys who are happy with just 1 to 2 meals a day and sleeping on the floor. Okay? There's so many guys right now, they're not even playing video games. They're happy just sitting back, relaxing, and looking at a fire. Like, I bought these fucking glasses, like these Real X1 glasses, and I just basically use them to like lay in bed and look at flames, like look at the fire. It's a joy for me, just looking at the fire, Yeah. Most men just want their peace. We're simple creatures. Men are escaping. We are escaping. We're walking away from society, and we're creating new spaces where women cannot follow because they're too complex. All right. Women will be trapped on operating systems like Windows. They'll be trapped on Windows. Mac OS is not bad. Mac is a pretty good system. Okay. But there's still issues there. Men are escaping to Linux. A lot of men are escaping to Linux. They have to put the work in. But don't get me wrong, Linux is fucking hard.
Linux for the first time thinking I'd become a 1337 hacker overnight. Instead, I broke my Wi-Fi, nuked my bootloader, and somehow made my volume keys start launching LibreOffice. I typed help into the terminal like a normal person, and Linux basically said no. Welcome to Linux, where the OS works flawlessly, as long as you already know how it works. It's not a learning curve. It's a trap. See, the problem with learning Linux isn't that it's hard, it's that no one teaches it like a human. You Google how to learn Linux, and you're dropped into this ancient forum thread from 2006, where a guy named Skullroot69 tells you to build your own kernel for fun. You don't even know what a kernel is. Then someone else says to use Gen 2 because it builds character. Sir, I am trying to run a terminal, not undergo a spiritual trial. The reality is, Linux is gatekept by the worst kind of tech people. But here's the twist. They're not wrong. Learning Linux does give you superpowers. It just sucks in the beginning. It's like Dark Souls, but with more semicolons and fewer dragons. Everyone talks about the Linux learning curve, but it's not a curve. It's a vertical cliff. Step 1, install a distro. Step 2, realize you can't connect to Wi-Fi. Step 3, spend 6 hours trying to get your audio drivers to work, only to realize your speakers were muted. But once you get past that cliff, you're unstoppable. You start to feel the matrix. You don't just use a computer, you command it. So let me break down how to actually learn Linux without losing your sanity. Step 1, go to linuxjourney.com. It's free, no sign up, and it teaches you Linux basics in a gamified, bite-sized way. You learn what a shell is, what the file system looks like, and how to use basic commands, without getting thrown into a dungeon by Stack Overflow. Once you've got the basics down, level up to Over the Wire's Bandit War game. It's like CTF for Linux noobs. You SSH into a box, And every level is a mini puzzle that forces you to use real Linux commands. Think of it as escape room meets terminal. And yeah, the UI looks like it was designed in 1999 by someone who hates joy, but it will teach you more than any 12-hour YouTube tutorial ever could. Now here's your new religion, man and TLDR. These are your Linux Bibles. When a command confuses you, and they will confuse you, type man followed by your command to read the manual. And if that's too long, use TLDR followed by your command for a quick summary with examples. Because guess what? Real hackers don't memorize. They Google more effectively. But please, for the love of root, do not do what I did. Do not start with Arch. That's like trying to learn to drive by building the car first. Don't watch a 14-part YouTube series where the guy spends half the time compiling Vim from scratch. Don't try to memorize 200 commands from a cheat sheet. That's not learning, that's cyber self-harm. And above all, do not copy-paste random scripts from Reddit. That's not hacking. That's playing Russian roulette with your hard drive. So why bother with all this pain? Why not just stick to Windows or Mac OS and call it a day? Because Linux is the foundation of literally everything in hacking. Every pen testing tool, every CTF, every web server, every shell, Linux is the default. They run nmap like it's a prayer. They write bash scripts that look like spells. Linux isn't just an OS, it's an ecosystem designed for people who want full control. And in cybersecurity, control is everything. If you really want to learn, stop watching and start doing. Fire up a Linux virtual machine. Doesn't matter if it's Ubuntu, Debian, or Kali. Now break something. No, seriously, delete a user. Try changing permissions until you lock yourself out of the system. Then figure out how to fix it. That pain, that's growth. That's the part where your brain rewires itself and goes, oh, I get it now. And yeah, Linux can feel like it's gatekept by sweaty terminal monks. But once you learn it, you become one of them. You'll start understanding stack traces. You'll pipe output into grep like a god. You'll debug network issues using nothing but a terminal and sheer spite. That's the moment you realize. You didn't just learn Linux, you became Linux. So stick with it. Keep touching the terminal every day. Play, break, fix, repeat, and one day you'll look back at your old self, the one who was scared of sudo, and laugh, because now you are root.
I've been in terminal every day. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, y'all. I don't even know what oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Yeah. I just hope these people aren't able to don't successfully age restrict. Oh. I just hope they're not able to successfully age restrict Linux. Yeah. Hopefully, because that would be bad. That would be really fucking bad, matey. That would be really fucking bad. But I mean, guys, they can try, but they're not going. Most of them won't be bothered. They will not be bothered following. They will not be able to follow us to Linux. All right. I see that Fedora is asking for donations. Yeah, I'll probably donate to them. Hopefully they don't decide to what do you call that shit? To implement age verification. That would fucking suck. By the way, guys, for those of you that enjoy the videos, you can feel free to buy me a coffee. I did put the link to buy me a coffee. It's pinned in the chat. It's in the description at the top. If you want to buy me a coffee, show some love. How do you what was it? Throw a coin to your Witcher. Remember that shit? Throw a coin to your Witcher. This is your bar. I'm your bartender, but you gotta tip the bartender. You gotta tip the bartender. All right, gotta tip the bartender. How many tips did we get? Let me check. Let's see what you fuckers have done. Were there even any? I've just been talking for the last couple of hours. Were there any supers? There was one super. There was a super from Thomas a minute ago. He said Gen Z and Gen Alpha can't read an analog clock. Oh my gosh, that is true. That's absolutely true. Thank you very much for that super, Thomas. That was a minute. Oh, maybe it wasn't a minute ago. Maybe it was kind of recent. Let me see here. Let me see how recent. Let me see if it's over here. What's fucked up is like, oh, okay, Thomas. You know what's fucked up? It looks like the supers, for some reason, don't show up. Like the supers, it looks like the supers don't actually show up. Like when in Rumble Studio, I don't think they do. Gunfox says I just turned 43 last month. Ah, you're an 83 baby too, huh? That's what's up. Zennial power. Zennial power. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm looking for Thomas's comment because I wanted to put it on the screen. I'll put this comment. He says, I liken Linux to shaving with an old-fashioned shaving mug and brush. And if you've got the guts, a straight razor. That's the best way to describe it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're going to cut yourself. Oh my goodness. You know what's so fucked up though? Linux has made me more brave. It's made me more willing to experiment with my system and break things, but it's so frightening because you don't want to go back to Windows. It's like you don't want to go back to Windows. It's not really an option. Windows is not an option. I don't want to go back to Windows. And Windows, and even though Linux is so fucked, there's all these cool things that I can do now. And it's like, like for example, even though guys, my laptop doesn't work exactly the way it should, this fuckery going on with the keyboard. So I had to basically change things around. So now instead of being able to do double tap, I have to basically use tap to the right to the very bottom right to right click because double tap isn't working. And I tried using shell to fix the issue and putting in scripts that I don't even understand, and that didn't work. And I tried everything. So basically this is the best solution right now. And it's like Linux doesn't necessarily adapt for you. You adapt to Linux. Linux does not adapt to you. You adapt to Linux. That's basically how it works. And you have no real it's like how the simps are. I'm not a simp, but it's kind of like the situation with the Sims where the manosphere is filled with Sims because they have nowhere else to go. And that's what's happening right now, basically with many of us, who are going to Linux. It's filled with us newbies who don't know what the fuck we're doing because we have nowhere else to go. And just like the Sims won't leave the manosphere because they have nowhere else to go, those of us who don't know what the fuck we're doing, which is pretty much everyone who starts off with Linux, can't leave, don't want to leave because we have nowhere else to go. All right, you can't go back to Windows. You can, but you don't. You don't want to go over there. They're spying, Copilot. It's bad. You can't. It's games don't work. Programs you can't even customize the interface. It's garbage. It's horrible. Windows is such trash. There's Mac OS, but who wants to buy an expensive Mac? If you want to use Mac, it's not like you can install Mac OS. You literally have to fucking buy a fucking Mac. It's crazy. All right, you have to buy a Mac and different size Macs. You're fucked. That's basically, I'll put it kindly. You're fucked. It's not like an OS that you can just toss on and this shit just works. Nope. You got to be locked into their fucking hardware ecosystem. It's not bad. It's premium, but still, and then you have to do everything the Apple way. Don't get me wrong. Mac OS is very flexible in some ways. I personally find Mac OS to be very similar to Linux, and that's because Linux and Mac OS are both based on Unix, right? But again, for me, in terms of having the flexibility to do whatever the fuck I want to, Gunfox says, angry, if possible, can you post your content same day on Rumble? No. No. I literally have someone who works for me that moves all my videos over to Rumble for me. She's the channel manager. I've had her for a little while now, right? I don't know, maybe a year or getting close to a year. Hired her when I got sick. And you guys were like, I hired her for you. She's been very good. And she's really affordable. Granted, there's been a lot of times where she's like, can you pay me early? But she's been really affordable. So I have a channel manager and she manages all of the content on the channel. She moves all of the content over to Linux. Over to Rumble. See, I'm thinking of Linux. She moves all of the content over to Rumble. She does it like once a week or sometimes a little later than that, but she's been pretty good about it overall. Rumble is a bitch, y'all. You should be you guys listen to me, Rumble people. You should be grateful that I still give Rumble any love, because Rumble has kind of fucked me. It has. Rumble has not shown me the love that I deserve. And they've tried to get me back into the Rumble, their version of the partner program, and I've kindly told them to fuck off, because the demands are just too fucking high. All right, they want you to invest like hours a day, like basically they want you to give sign over your soul to make like it's just not fucking worth it. It's not worth it. So I'm still spending money every single month to keep Rumble up to date for you guys, and I'm still streaming. Every time I stream on Rumble. In fact, I'm streaming using Rumble Studio right now. Rumble Studio is connected to my YouTube channel and everything, so I stream through Rumble Studio. So I'm streaming through Rumble Studio. So I've been giving you guys a lot. I don't have the videos are not. It's just not feasible to have them released every single day, because that would take just too much. That would basically be I would have to go and do that myself, or I'd have to probably pay her more. I don't even know if she could do it. The system that we have in place right now is just really excellent, where she uploads them like once a week or whenever the fuck she feels like it. It'll be sometime during that month. I don't rock the boat. I'm happy about it. I will say this. If I was making substantially more money from Rumble, if Rumble was literally making me money like that, then yeah, I would find a fucking way to make sure the videos are uploaded every day, but I would also be paying her a lot more. Okay? But for now, considering that I'm not making much money from Rumble and I just don't give a fuck like that, I am not going to be doing daily uploads for Rumble. I show Rumble more love than Rumble deserves. Figma says, I also told him that the streets of America are going to be littered with single homeless women. It's just an update, brothers. Damn. Let me see here. Shout out to Brandon. Brandon is such a good dude. Shout out to Brandon. Brandon has been with me for a long time now. This is a positive dude right here. Brandon is such a respectful dude. This is a guy. These are the kinds of people that you want around you in life. All right. Brandon has never shown me anything but respect. Always showing me respect. He's a good guy. Always showing me respect in almost every breath. Master angry, master angry, master angry. This is a fucking respectful guy. So let me tell you something, guys. Manners will take you across the world because they're so fucking rare. So fucking rare. Like almost every post from this fucking guy. Let me tell you something. I get tired of Brandon sometimes. I'll tell you why. Hear me out. I get tired of Brandon sometimes because when he leaves comments, he shows me so much respect that when he leaves comments, while I'll ignore 99% of everyone else, I will literally stop to go like his comment, give it a heart, and maybe even respond. But I will literally stop just because this guy has shown me so much respect for years consistently. I'm telling y'all, manners can take you across the world. It can get you out of being polite and respectful because it's so fucking rare these days. Shout out to Brandon. Sigma says, Angry, can you post your XRP receive address for donations? Ripple. Oh, Ripple. Let me think. I actually have Rumble Wallet. Let me give me a moment. Let me double check. Because if maybe that's one of the I don't know, maybe you can maybe I'm able to actually receive money through Rumble Wallet. Let me see here, big. You know what's fucked up? tell you what's fucked up. See what's fucked up. Like, I did not. I did not connect Rumble Wallet on my phone. Only secret phrase. Let me see here. All right. Alrighty, cool. So I'm logging into my Rumble wallet. I don't know if I can accept XRP on it, but maybe I can. And I know I put the phrase, it looks like I put the phrase incorrectly. It says confirming. And it's just fucking spinning. Gotta love Rumble. Gotta love fucking Rumble. You know, I don't know, like Rumble is kind of GHETTO. I gotta say that, y'all. I just gotta say that. Like, Rumble's not bad. You know, I'm grateful that I have another platform that I can stream from and so forth. But I don't know. I don't fucking know. This is some bullshit. Because like I put in my secret phrase, and instead of it doesn't reject it, it just sits there spinning. So Sigma, I will look into that. I will literally look into it if I can accept XRP, because I would assume that I can accept it through Rumble Wallet. Actually, because I went on my phone, but I didn't even think about it. I could just go on the website. Asmongold is on Rumble. I was like, what? I actually blocked Asmongold's content just because it's like it can stress me out. I don't want to be stressed out. Let me see here. Tip jar. The activity, open wallet. Share. Let me see here. Okay. Share a link that will allow your supporters to send you crypto to your tip jar. Okay, so I found the link. All right. I'm going to share the link, bro. I'm going to share the link to you. Let me share the link. How do I share the fucking link? Yeah, I did find the link. There you go. Thanks for challenging me, right? I just kind of assumed that you guys, I assumed that it would just be on my Rumble, like it would just be there, so you guys would be able to just go and find it and and do it that way. But I guess not. Let me mute this. I'll put the link in the I'll put the link in I'll put the link in here now. There it is, guys. Oh, and you know what's so funny? The link, guys, it says it right on there. Like, if you click tip, scan to tip with Rumble, guys. I went through all the trouble of finding the link so that you guys could tip me, but it's right. It is on Rumble. It's right there. If you click on tip, like it's like if you're on Rumble right now and you click on tip Sigma, then you can send it. You can actually send it. You can actually send a tip that way. I even real. Yeah, if you want to tip me. You, I assume it accepts XRP. Just click on tip. Click on tip on Rumble, and I think you should be able to tip me through. I assume XRP because it looks like it accepts a bunch of different coins. So yeah, please use the tip. Just click on tip if you want to do crypto.
Hilarious. Shout out to him because it's true. It's so stupid. God forgive me. Like, come on. You chose the bear. You screamed and you hollered. We don't need men. We tired of y'all. Don't look at us exactly like he said. Don't talk to us. Oh my God, why are you approaching me? Because basically, I'm better than you. I got a job. That's the type of stuff that men have had to hear. They think that because men aren't as vocal, that they don't either have feelings or they don't care. Or
when an attractive man, over 6 feet, even says hello to them, you can watch the rules go out the door in a mere second.
I told you, guys are tired. Guys are tired of you. They're tired of you pretending to want to take them seriously when you really just want the free drinks. They're tired of going up to you and you being like, thanks for the drink, doing this game you do. Tired. They're tired of the takers. They're tired. They don't want to deal with any of that. They're tired of, you meet all of these qualifications, right? You got all the qualifications, and she's talking to you and she's like, oh, but, there's this one thing. He has a boat and it's red and I don't like the color red. Oh. Right? Because they feel like they can be so picky that they've got everything met, but they can just nitpick about everything, right? They're tired of you. You want guys to come up to you, change your attitude, change your strategy, treat them differently, and that's going to have to happen over a long period of time, right? It took decades to get here. Guys finally saying, I am done with you. And social media played a big part because now they go on socials and they see women talking all their crap. So they're like, oh, I know what's going on now behind the scenes. When I walk away after buying you that drink, I know you're making a fool out of me. They're like, I'm done. You're going to make a fool out of me? Honey, now I'm going to make a fool out of you. I'm going to sit at that bar. I'm going to drink my scotch. I'm not buying you nothing. I'm not even looking your way. That's what's going on. Change your attitude. It's going to take a long time for guys to feel like you've changed genuinely, and then you'll see.
Yeah, she's wrong about something. She thinks that guys are sitting at the bar thinking, you think I'm just gonna buy my scotch. No, guys are not thinking about modern women anymore. Like, they think that men are just going, guys, women seem to think, even she seems to think that men will eventually come back. Men are done. Men are tired. Men have done the cost-benefit analysis, and a FAP is cheaper. It's cheaper and it's more relaxing. This is literally mouse utopia. What women don't understand is that they thought men would always be there. All right? Most men are done. Men don't give a shit. You have other men trying to police men, like, men, how dare you walk away? You can't just walk away. You need to go back out there and embrace it. Men are done with that shit. All right? Our brains are changing, evolving, growing. We're not meant, the average man is never going to suddenly go back. You think like 20 years from now, men are like, after like, let's say like everything goes to hell and like now like women are humble. You think men are going to start going back and trying to date these women? No. Okay? Aside from the fact that many of them are going to be old, all right? And again, I'm not putting them down. It's like they're going to be far past their reproductive prime. Why is a man going to go date a 50-year-old woman or 60-year-old woman? And even then, just the way that women have been in Western society, if a man still wants a relationship at that time, he'll go overseas, or he'll already have been overseas. But the average man at that point may no longer want to have like anything to do with relationships. He'll have lost attraction in that way. He'll be having relationships as society continues on as it's going with AI. AI will have evolved substantially. All right. A lot of men will literally be what will become known, I'll take it out of Futurama, as robosexuals, where they will only have relationships with artificial intelligence and robots. Okay. They are not going to, otherwise they are not having any kind of relationship. Okay. It has to be artificial. It has to be something that they can control. It has to be something that is not biological, because they're just not attracted anymore. Women are going to have to take the jobs that men are leaving behind as well, if they want to survive, and men are going to leave these jobs. Men are leaving these jobs behind, and women are going to have to pick up the slack. They're going to be forced to, because men are not going to do it. And men can live up with the average man can live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. The average woman cannot. You see it happening in China already, where you have all of these women working delivery jobs and crying on social media, while men are working whenever they feel like it, and eating well, living well, and that's it. That is really it. That's really it. I love how you guys are giving Brandon his dues in the comments. Like Subbro said to Brandon, good job. Yeah. Gunfox just dropped some cash. I almost closed the stream window. Like, what the heck are you doing, Angry? Let me see here. All right. Gunfox just dropped a tenner. He said, things will get worse to a point where the U.S. could see birth rates of less than one, and and times are slowly changing due to men are getting tired of the way that women treat them and the bullshit. Yeah, we're probably going to fall below one. We are probably going to fall below one, below one replacement level. Like we're heading towards North Korea. We're heading to, like, the Japanese predicted that America was on the same trajectory as Japan. Japanese sociologists, they know a thing about population decline, have predicted that America is on the same trajectory as Japan. It just takes a bit longer for us to catch up. And America is a country that is able to uniquely do something others can't. Other countries have not been able to do traditionally, which is basically to replenish their population using immigration. But that's beginning to decline. Like that's something that's going to change. The collapse of the American empire is going to result in people not wanting to come to America anymore. All right. So it's going to become much harder to import people and bring people into a collapsed empire. Who the hell wants to come? People are trying to get out, not in. So yeah, we're going to see probably -1. We're going to see, the birth rate collapse below 1, and it's not going to come back. And we're going to have this extremely rapidly aging geriatric population. And, these same people who destroyed Western society, the baby boomers, they're going to they're such sociopathic individuals. They're going to basically blame the hell on earth on men, on their children. They're bad. The baby boomers are bad people. Let me see here. Let's see here. James says, fun evening. Catch you anytime, Angry. Awesome. Awesome. Christopher said, I used Linux from 2009 to 2022. Really, bro? So what did you do? Did you go back to Windows? Are you on Mac OS? Like, I don't really know. Like, if you use Linux from 2009 to 2022, that means you have to be pretty good at Linux. I assume you're a pseudo king. And there's so many distributions now. Like, there's Pop OS, there's Pop OS, there's Mint, there's Catchy, there's Bazite. There's SteamOS is technically there, although it's really optimized only for like handhelds. I mean, there's Fedora. There's Arch. I mean, 2009, I would assume you would be an Arch king. There's another version of Arch, I think, as well, that gives you the GUI interface, but still it gives you kind of like very much an Arch experience. I mean, there's just so many distributions. So why would you leave Linux after so long? I am so curious. I am still curious. I really want to know, Christopher Geeser, if you're still watching, why did you leave Linux? Why did you leave Linux after being on Linux for 13 years, dude? 13 years. I need to understand this one. What, would you willingly go back to, would anyone go back to Windows after you've gained after all of that knowledge? Windows? That shitstorm? Let's see here. Let me see here. Gun says, Angry, did you know that the Chinese pay tens of thousands of USD to come to the US and have kids? There's an estimate 100s of thousands of US citizens living in China that never lived in the US. Wow. I never knew this. I literally never knew that at all. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, there's an estimated 100,000. There's an estimate of hundreds of thousands of US citizens living in China that never lived in the US. So you're saying that they were born in the US and their parents then took them back to China, but because they were born in the US, they automatically received American citizenship, and now they can use that citizenship later on in life. That's pretty insane. But times are changing. The fall of the American empire is happening. It's not the fall. I don't think it's the downright. Yeah, Gunfox says called it birth tourism. Yeah. I've heard that term before, I think. But I don't think it's the fall of society. I just think it's the fall of the empire. All right. Like, think about it. When the Roman Empire fell, we were plunged into the Dark Ages, but it wasn't a complete society still continued. Granted, humanity was basically the empire split. So there were two sides of the Roman Empire, which I didn't want to go into, but I was forced to learn. And, while one part of the Roman Empire collapsed, which represented most of Europe, another part of the Roman Empire actually survived for like 1,000 years. And that part of the empire preserved as much of the knowledge of humanity as it possibly could. So that's a very important thing to consider. Subbro says, Angry, do you see the dating market and OF collapsing after robots and AI girlfriends get adopted by So here's where things get interesting. The dating market has already collapsed. Okay? The dating market's collapsing after. The dating market has collapsed already. We are literally in the depths of the dating market collapse. Like, you have like 1,000 women going, it's from everywhere from the US to China. 1,000 women showing up to a dating event and not a single man showing up to these matchmaking events. It's happening in the US. It's happening everywhere. It's happening especially in places like New York. Men are not dating anymore. Men have stopped dating. So the dating market has already collapsed. In America, the dating market has collapsed. In China, the dating market has collapsed. Okay? All around the world, the dating market has collapsed. It's collapsed. There's no question. It's only going to get worse from here because women continue to shame men and alienate the men that still remain. So it's only going to get worse until essentially they run out of men. As more men just say, fuck this shit, I'm out. So let's not argue the dating empire, the dating market has collapsed. In terms of OF collapsing, OF will collapse, and it will collapse. I don't know if it's going to just completely go away, because it's basically it's OF and platforms similar to OF. The government doesn't want these platforms to go away. If they did, it would shut them down. The government is only going after enforcement for things like money, people who don't pay their taxes. But it's basically a form of it's essentially legalized adult intimacy that the government is able to track and is able to trace and tax. And that's why they love it. So it's not necessarily going anywhere in that sense, but in terms of collapsing in the sense of women how women use it, it is going through a collapse. You're going to have more and more women rushing to the platform out of desperation. It's pattern recognition, and the state is pushing it, society is pushing it. You're going to have more women rushing to these platforms, trying to treat it like a YouTube channel, but it's not going to work. What's really going to end up happening is, because the average OnlyFools creator makes only $180 a month, and after OnlyFools takes its cut, it works out to something like $120 a month. Only something like 5% of creators make most of the money on the platform. It's some psychotic number, but it's being positioned to women and girls as either a great side hustle or a replacement for your income, when it really isn't. Women are basically selling their futures right now for small amounts of money for short-term gains, and many of them are making nothing. $120 a month. The average woman on OnlyFans right now, 95% of them are making, it's ridiculous. Are making $120 a month. I forget the exact number, but it's ridiculous. All right. The vast majority of women on OnlyFools right now are making $120 a month. You might wonder, now here's one thing that's really fucked up for me to put it like this, but platforms like OnlyFools, they also serve another purpose, just like Instagram. All of those so-called Instagram baddies that have 100,000 followers and all this bullshit, and they're showing off these glamorous lifestyles. Here's what came out pretty much recently. All of these women in Miami showing off these lifestyles on Instagram, they're escorts. They are escorts. And they basically use Insta, they use these platforms to basically, these men hit them up, they fly them out or whatever, and they spend tens of thousands of dollars sometimes in a single evening just for intimacy. A lot of these pop groups like Pussycat Dolls, they revealed it, and they were basically and then silenced. A lot of these girl groups and so forth are B-list celebrities, B and C-list celebrities They're all working as escorts. All right, and it's the truth. So these Instagram baddies, they're all escorts. All right, and a lot of the women who are going to do OnlyFools, they're also escorts, and they're just using OnlyFools as a mean of finding a John that is willing to spend, you know, $10,000 or $20,000 on them for an evening. That's the truth. That's the honest to goodness truth. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, but it's true. Yeah. Let me see here. Gunfox says it. I like this comment from Gunfox. Really like this comment. He says, the fall of the U.S. empire will not mean the end of the U.S. It will mean that the world will not have any superpower, and China is not a superpower. That's an excellent comment. That's an excellent comment. Because people hear the fall of the American empire and they think, oh, it's the end of America. No, it's not the end of America. It's the end of the American empire. America will no longer be an empire. America will no longer have the kind of control and power and influence that it does in the world. And does it put us in a very precarious situation? Absolutely. But at the other hand, you know, this is just how nations rise and nations fall. America is a very young country. And, you know, I'll say right off the bat, is its collapse natural? Nope, it's not. It's 100% is not happening naturally. It is something that has literally been done systematically. It has been deliberate. But at the same time, America has been on this trajectory for quite some time. You know, you look at the the 13th Amendment that ended SLAVRY. But if you notice, it ends it and then it basically says, except if you're a prisoner, right? Give me a sec, guys. Which amendment ended? All right. I think it was the 13th. Yeah, it was the 13th. So the 13th Amendment ended SLAVRY, but it then said it basically banned SLAVRY, but then goes on to make it legal again if a person is a prisoner, which is the reason why you can force people to work, force labor. Essentially, if you're a prisoner, you're effectively as an SLAVE. So that basically what they did was they just changed it so that private citizens can no longer own SLAVEs, but the government can. How insane is that? Because think about it. The only group that can legally imprison someone is the state. A private citizen cannot legally imprison anyone, even if they owe them money. Okay? Even if someone owes you money, you cannot make them an indentured servant. You cannot imprison them for not paying you your money. The only group that can legally imprison someone is the state, which means that only the state can now legally own SLAVEs. You see, it's pattern recognition. Once you start to see the bullshit, it just keeps on going. You start to look at everything else and see the bullshit in everything else. You start to look at the shape of objects and realize there's a reason why it's that shape. There's a reason why it hasn't changed in the last 100 years. All right? Because they keep it that way so that they can keep on making more money and more profit, because it's ineffective. It's designed for planned obsolescence. It's designed for inefficiency. It's a part of the control. It's a part of control. Everything. You start to see everything and question everything. You realize everything around you is about fucking controlling you and continuing to extract as much wealth and resources from you as humanly possible.
But for now, especially in the cities, guys are just sitting back with their drink, and they're just letting this drama unfold. It's hilarious. It's like, they're frazzled cats. Frazzled cats. Ooh. Very entertaining.
This is why we go find a woman in another country, because they gave us the respect we deserve. And even then, these women hate us for not putting up with their drama.
My oldest son got married. He was a millennial. and he married a woman with 2 kids. This woman was so cold-hearted that while my son was dying in the hospital on life support, she was cheating on him with another man. Single moms are cold-hearted as fuck. Stay away from them at all costs.
Listen to Pops on the Move, yo. Pops on the Move, he be spitting game. Real talk. Like, y'all listen to that man. He got some knowledge, man. He's coming from experience from his personal life, okay? Experience from his personal life. Like, we all had felt this evil spirit about them, you know? Something about them that they do to every last one of us have experienced the evilness of women. Every last one of us men have experienced it. And if you haven't, man, you must live under a rock, bro. Like you live somewhere where there ain't no women. And if you haven't experienced the evilness, man, you are that 1%, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Hold that power and try to keep that peace. Cause, whew, us 99%, we ain't having it, bro. We tired. See, we falling asleep in the car type joint. That's how tired we are. We falling asleep in the car like that, sideways, sitting sideways, boys in the days. You feel me? Like that, just.
This was a story so many of us are going through. Marrying a single mum has to be the most stupid thing a modern man can do to himself.
Women these days are looking for a come up. They're looking for somebody to save them. They're looking for their next thing. When you really unpack what's going on right now in society, a lot of women are bums because they choose to look for that. Listen, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not sugarcoating shit. A lot of women are bums, and you have high standards with low quality in yourself. You want a man to have 6 figures. You want a man to take care of you, pay all your bills. You want a man to do this, that, and the third. Elevate your life. But you can't do that for yourself. So why is a man going to invest that into you when you don't even do that for yourself?
Too many modern women expect a man to come in and save them, financially, emotionally, and socially, without putting in the work to bring equal value. So why are we still catering to these selfish women?
No reason why someone that's 45 is trying to talk to you. You're young.
I'm not gonna hold y'all. Controversial take. I think women only have these opinions now because women have focused more on the careers, education, and being independent. They're older in age, and now they're pushing these agenda more only because they're now at an age to settle down now where they're in their 30s. So,
but pushing what is
women?
what's the agenda?
You guys are all against these men dating younger women because it takes options away from you guys. Guys, your age now.
I didn't know.
What else can you base it on?
So here's the thing on this. I mean, ultimately, a woman can do whatever she wants to do, right? If she wants to get a whole bunch of degrees and choose the bear, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. But as we know in life, actions have consequences, right? So if you're basically going to prioritize and go all in on your degrees and then put relationships on the back burner for 2, 5, 10, 15 years, and you think that you're going to pick it up like you never left, not realizing that there's relationship muscles that you need to work on over time. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily work that way. Ultimately, if these boss babe independent queens are winning in life, okay, they're getting exactly what they want. What difference does it make if a 45-year-old man wants to date a 26 or 27-year-old woman? Okay, what difference does it make? Clearly they're triggered because they're being overlooked. They're not, necessarily getting the results that they want from a relationship perspective. And they're realizing that a lot of these guys are simply checking out and bypassing them. So they try to deploy the insults, the shame, guilt, insult, need to be right, to try to get you to date them. And it's like, it doesn't work that way.
So I saw this video the other day and I thought it was so funny because I related to it so much. There was a woman and she was out with her friends and she was like, someone better hit on me tonight. I'm sick of this. And I was like, ma'am, I feel you so much. Because I never get hit on in person. Like, I get a lot of messages online and stuff, and I'm single, so I'm on dating apps. But just like at the grocery store, men don't just come over and say hi, like, how are you doing? They don't do that anymore. And so when I do meet men, and I ask them, I tell them, like, I don't usually get hit on in person. Would you, if you saw me at the store or wherever, would you come talk to me? And sometimes they say yes, but a lot of times they say no. And it's usually for one or two reasons. The first reason is because they assume I'm not single, which, like, sir, I'm walking around here with a ring-free hand. Like, why are you over there assuming things? But the second reason is because they said that women find it too aggressive and they don't like it. And I'm like, who are these women? Like, all the women I know, the single women, they appreciate it when a man is respectful and they come over and say, hi, you look nice or whatever. Because if we're out and we're...
Listen to the fucking gaslighting. She's one of these women. Women told men don't ever approach them. And now they're acting like that's not the case. If you're respectful, the reality is that women cannot approach men. Women cannot handle rejection. Right? They can't. I was just eating some Cheez-Its, but I wanted to do some commentary. Women cannot handle rejection. They're not designed for it. All right? Men are the natural approachers, but women have fucked that up. So now they're pretending and act shame. This is gaslighting. They're gaslighting men. Shame, insults, gaslighting. Shame, insults, guilt, gaslighting. Because they need to be right. That's what they're doing right here. This is just gaslighting. She's like, most women, I don't know who these women are. If it's not on social media, it's all over the place. If men haven't experienced this already. And when women like her pretend and act like she doesn't know what men are talking about, that only further pushes men away. Women go on social media and they think that they think shaming men shaming men for not approaching is going to get more men to approach. That's their emotions lying to them. That's delusional thinking. The way women think is very different. It doesn't go with logic. Women think that shaming men for not approaching them will make men more likely to approach them because they're basically punishing men for not approaching them. So men who know that they're not approaching will feel ashamed, will be afraid of being shamed for not approaching. Well, so they'll start approaching more. That's how a woman thinks. All right? She thinks that men can literally read and see her fucking emotions. They think men can read their emotions. Even if women don't tell men what they're feeling, they believe men can see their emotions, read their emotions, and then adapt based on what they're feeling. It's insane. They believe that they think that men are telepathic. Even though their friends cannot read their minds. They believe that men can't. Guys, it's bullshit. It's such fucking bullshit. Really is. It's fucking bullshit. David says, yo, damn, going 3 hours. Just got home from the road. What's up, bro? Some of your comments are awesome, but I can't read them on the tube. Gunfox says the U.S. is the sole superpower right now. However, the U.S. is a wild card. The thing is, Americans are not your average national citizen. Our Americans are a wild card and do not fit any mold. That is absolutely true. Do you hear? Yeah, and he says, you said it right. This is the reason why the global order hates the U.S. ideals. Yeah, because Americans, even if the American empire collapses, the American perception of reality is going to remain. Americans are going to continue wanting their freedom. They're not going to. If the empire collapses, you think if the empire collapses, they'll try every possible way to get Americans to give up their firearms, or to make it difficult for them to purchase new ones or ammo. But do you think Americans are really going to do that? if the American empire collapses and society doesn't collapse, but we begin experiencing fragmentations of social collapse or the effects of social collapse, even if it's not full social collapse, do you really think in such a situation people are going to be giving up their protection? No, they're going to be doubling down and doing everything they can. All right? So even if the American empire collapses, the American spirit, the American values, those aren't going to collapse. Those are going to remain. You have to think about it. If the empire collapses, do you think people are going to continue trusting voting? It basically just situates things like this. It basically tells Americans, okay, it's you and the state. It's you and you don't actually have any choices. All right? All right? Voting is just an illusion. So once people suddenly say, yeah, my vote doesn't count, the system is collapsed. The system that exists, it basically is there to control me. There's no equality, there's no optionality in it. All right? There's some who will obey, but a lot of people will begin looking for ways out. Look at what happened when they banned drinking. All right, prohibition. Everyone was drinking, even the cops. It created many, many more problems. It became simply unstoppable. And of course, these cell phones and social media and all of this shit, it's used to control us. But is it truly the perfect control? Because eventually people, if it doesn't work out for them, what happens? You end up in a situation where now everything becomes lawless. All right? Everything becomes lawless. If you go too far, people are very adaptable. And if you go too far, people will begin looking for ways out, creating their own ways out. They will start to ignore the laws, ignore the system, ignore everything on a large scale. Brandon says, Master Angry, I'll be like Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid and create a nation of free citizens where men answer to no one. My version of Outer Heaven. Oh boy. SKO says, I was born in 91. I don't know if I'm millennial or zennial. You're a millennial. Although, actually, you're a zennial. What the fuck am I saying? So, you would be a zennial, actually. You'd be a zennial. You're right. Because the zennial, I gotta look up the zennial years. You're a zennial. You're definitely a zennial. Let me check. What are the zennial years? It's probably like 7 years because the zennial years are 1977 through 1985. Boy, did they expand. So I'm curious, what are the zennial? You're definitely a zennial because the Gen X years, the millennial years end in 1996. So yeah, you're definitely a zennial. A zennial. So Zillennial. Okay, let's see here. Zillennial years or Zillennials refers to a microgeneration born on the cusp of millennials and Gen Z, typically between 1993 and 1998, though some definitions extend to 1992. Okay, I was wrong. I thought you would probably. I think they're going to expand it eventually, but so yeah, you're. I mean, I wouldn't even call you a very late millennial because but I guess you're a millennial. You're a millennial, bro. You're a millennial. Definitely a millennial. Although I still think you're probably like right or like close to zennial. Gunfox says, "Angry, my man. Cheez-Its are good. I'm snacking on some goldfish, but I will have to get some Cheez-Its." Yeah. Subbro says, "Women have ruined their credibility. They 100% have." They 100% have destroyed their credibility. They have none left. This is a perfect comment. In Virginia, the government banned the sale of 30-round mags, so gun stores handed out all their stocks of mags to people as a way to say, screw you to the government. Damn. Yep. That's when you piss people off enough, and the control is basically these cell phones. That's how they control you, using these cell phones, where you'll need digital ID and ID verification to do anything. Really? That's how do you really completely want to test that? Because when enough people say, yeah, fuck that shit, I'm not complying with it, what happens next? Think about that carefully. This is probably a good comment from Saka, from SKO. He says, "We were born into lawlessness. This false front of Puritan Christian ways have all been BS. Get rid of religion and politricks, politricks like polar tricks, like parlor tricks. Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. Absolutely." Ashley says 75 through 85 are Zennials. That makes sense, because I don't. First they said it was 70. First they said it was 77 through 83. Then they said it was 77 through 85. I was like, I would honestly say 75. Yeah, 75. That makes more sense. Like, who the hell said, like, that is literally correct. That has to be the right years, dude. Because they went from 77 to 83, then they went from 77 to 85. But you're absolutely right. Like, wait a minute. So why is it 77 to 85? That doesn't make any fucking sense. So what's that? 8 years? Why not to the 10 years? It's that's how the generation. Yeah, you're right, dude. You're right. That's why I thought Zennials are more than likely 75 to 85. 100% right. That's why I said, like, Zennials, like the whole Zennial years don't make any sense. They're like 90, like right on the cusp. Nah, I don't think so. I think Zennial years are more like 1990 to maybe like 1990 to 1990 or 1991 to like 2000 or something. Those are probably the Zennial years, like 1990 to 2000. Those are probably the Zennial years, like 100%. 1990 to 1990 to 2000. I think those are Zennial years. The generation between Gen Z and the millennials. I think that's what it's going to work out to be. Rich says no one wants to be a millennial. Damn. Yeah, but does anyone even want to? No one wants to be a millennial, but does anyone want to be a Gen Zer though? No one wants to be a Gen Zer for sure. SCO says, I'm proud to be a millennial. People born after 92 are weird. I relate more to 80s people than 90s people. I'm a different breed. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Gunfox says, I use my TWIC card or my military retiree card. If places do not want to take my non-real ID driver's license, I'm not getting a real ID. Screw that. You're absolutely 100% right for not getting it. Rich says, me and Angry are Zennials. Yes, we are. Zennials. Gunfox says I'm more of a Gen Xer than anything else. Yeah, that's how it really depends on like where you fall and how you're raised. I have the what's is that the pessimism? What's the word I'm looking for? I have the hardcore skepticism. I have the hardy hardcore skepticism, you know, of a Gen Xer. All right. I have that hard skepticism of a Gen Xer, you know? Gen Xer. There you go. That's the ER. That's the ER. All right. I have that hard skepticism of a Gen Xer. Hard skepticism. Oh my gosh. Let me see here. Falak says I started detoxing my body. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Cynicism, yeah. Cynicism. Rich says cynicism. Exactly that. I have the cynicism. I have the hard cynicism of a Gen Xer. Hard cynicism. Yeah. Yeah, we've been going for over 3 hours. Can you imagine that? I was only planning to give you guys 10 minutes and I gave you guys over 3 fucking hours. 3 fucking hours of my life. Okay. But you guys know now the reason why. Like, I moved to Linux and that shit was something else. I still need to figure out how to use Kden Live. And hopefully I'll be able to do it'll work with GPU. The GPU accelerating will work because I need GPU acceleration. CPU is not enough if I'm going to get my videos done in a relatively fast time. Let's check out Fedora 44 together. Let's go and check
This
it out.
is the all-new Fedora 44 and it's a massive release packed with stunning updates. We are getting GNOME 50 here with variable refresh rate finally landing as a stable feature, fractional scaling that works flawlessly, and this one is big. NT-Sync kernel module is now automatically enabled system-wide, giving Windows games running on Linux performance boosts that are astronomical compared to the last version of Fedora. Some titles are seeing 678% FPS improvements. Yeah, not 67, 678%. And that's just the first 2 items in this video. I've been playing with Fedora 44 beta and this release has genuinely surprised me at every turn. This is Fedora at its most polished. In this video, I'm laying everything out, every feature, every upgrade, every reason this might be the best Fedora release ever. Let's jump right in. Alright, kicking things off at number 1, and this is a big one. Fedora 44 ships with GNOME 50 and this release is a big milestone for the Linux desktop. Now, before we get into what GNOME 50 brings, let's quickly talk about X11 because this is important context. Fedora 43, the previous version, already removed the X11 session entirely. It was gone. No fallback, no option at login. And honestly, even a year ago, I would have been pretty vocal about disagreeing with that. I wasn't ready. A lot of people weren't ready. Wayland didn't feel ready then. But here's the thing, Wayland has matured a lot. Even on Nvidia hardware, everything just works now. And honestly, the experience is smoother, quicker, more premium. Those rough edges are just gone. So GNOME 50 has removed X11 session upstream now as well.
Just wanted you guys to see what Fedora looks like a little bit. I love Fedora. It's the only thing that also works on my Strix, like, you know, RG Control Center, all that other shit. I am so afraid of fucking with the kernel though, because there's like an update I need to do, and I don't want to fuck with the kernel because if I fuck with the kernel, then suddenly things don't look right anymore. I fucked with the kernel once and it fucked everything up, and I need to upgrade my NVIDIA drivers, but I don't want to fuck with the kernel again. It's like, yeah, fuck this shit. I don't need to fuck with that. Let's see here. Okay, so the actual full release of Fedora 44 is currently scheduled for April 14, 2026. Okay. This version released on the version released on March 8th, on March 10th is the beta release, which is intended for public testing and feedback before the final stable version is made available. Okay, so it's about like a month from now, just a little under a month from now. Literally, because today's like March 15th, so literally a month from now, more or less, we'll get Fedora 44, and evidently it's even better for gaming. Okay, cool beans. Cool beans. Okay. How many of you fuckers are still watching? We got 44. What the fuck has the number gone up? There's actually more of you guys watching than before. More of you guys watching than before. I had to like figure out what I needed to title this podcast because I have Angry in the Morning. I've only done Angry in the Morning one time. I have Angry After Dark, but Angry After Dark is the nighttime show. So when I came on when I came on like 3 hours ago, it was like over 3 hours ago. At this time, it was like, okay, well, it can't be angry. It's not Angry After Dark because it's not dark yet. Can't be Angry in the Morning because it's not morning. Okay, so this will just be an Angry Guy podcast episode, and it worked. It worked out. It worked out. All right. Tell you right now, you guys are not going to be getting a 10 hour stream. Like, fuck that shit. You're not getting that kind of stream. You're not getting that length. Gunner Fax says Angry at Dusk. It wasn't even dusk though. When I started streaming, it wasn't even dusk. Angry at Dusk. That's basically the same as angry at dusk. That's so fucked up. Angry at dusk. That's so fucking literal, bro. That's so fucking literal. That's so fucking literal. Damn. It does make like that. Like, is that not? That's so fucked up, dude. You guys have Angry in the Morning. You guys have Angry After Dark. You have the Angry Guy podcast, and now like literally, so before the sun goes down, Angry at Dusk. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That's so fucked up. Oh my gosh. I wonder, is that like what do you guys think? Do you think the name sticks? What do you think? Angry at Dusk? No, that's too much. That's too much. Like, we have so many Angry Guy podcasts for these, like, when nothing else sticks, Angry Guy podcast. You're like, Angry at Dusk? Like, that's not a bad name. That's absolutely not a bad name. But damn. I mean, seriously, what if we do Angry at Dusk? And what does it mean if I do like a morning stream before? Like, but then it'd still be Angry in the Morning, wouldn't it? But then if it's like before the sun, would that be Angry in the Morning, or would that be angry? Would that be like if I did like a 4 a.m. stream? Would that be Angry Before Dawn? Like, we're getting too fucking literal with it. You're getting too literal. Oh gosh, you guys are fuckers. Guys are fuckers. What's his name? SCO. This is another one. Oh shit. SCK. Angry in the Evening. Jesus. Ashley says I did my grocery shopping while listening. That's what's up. Rich said angry all day. You guys are wild. Gun Fox, Angry at Dawn in the Morning. I'm not a big one. Angry for breakfast. I get what you mean, but I don't know if I like the way that sounds. Oh God. I don't know. I do not fucking know. Oh my gosh. You guys are having a fucking good time, huh? What do you think of Phalaxis, what do you think of graphene and tails? Graphene and tails, huh? I don't know what you're talking. I know Graphene OS. You talking about graphene and tails? Anyway, yeah, guys, I don't know. Life. Oh gosh, let me look at some more of these comments. SCO says angry at Dunch. Jesus Christ. You guys are having too much of a good time. You know what's kind of fucked up? I'm looking at, there was actually I was like, you didn't even throw a coin to your Witcher. SEO actually dropped a $5 a little while ago. I didn't see it. Sorry about that, bro. He said conventional society died in the 1950s. Granted, I'm good on the RACISM of that era, but I'm 99% positive I'd like that time better and be better. Damn, bro. Thanks for the 5. I appreciate it. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that 5. Let me see here. Some messages are such as potential spam. All right. Okay. I'm still here. I'm just like reading through your comments. Ugh, gotta buy your Red Bulls to keep dropping gems on us. Oh gosh. I wasn't like, yeah. I really gotta figure this shit out. Gotta get back, figure this shit out so I can pump out my fucking videos for you daily again. I was planning to move like to a shorter Monday, Wednesday. I had even announced it, but I might go back to just fucking straight daily videos. Ah, the life of a YouTuber, right? The life of a YouTuber. That's some shit. That's some shit. That's some real fuckery. Guys, things are not looking good. Women are going to find themselves experiencing extraordinary hardship and in extraordinary states of poverty and destitution as a result of men walking away from society and choosing to, live free lives, or if go overseas and have Filipino wives. That's the path that they're on. That's the trajectory they're on. But let me know what you guys think, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers. You didn't see that coming. You didn't see the stream ending on that note, did you? I caught you. I got you guys. Cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.